Welcome to Good Earners Reviewing The Sopranos. For those that are new, welcome to our show. For those that have been here, y'all know how we give it up. Here on our show of Good Earners Reviewing The Sopranos, we like to talk about family, finessing, finances, and feelings in the world of Tony Soprano, bringing you a new perspective, a fly perspective, and most importantly, a black perspective. Spike Lou, this week, what are we reviewing?
This week, we are reviewing episode 11 of season 2 titled House Arrest. On this episode, Tony deals with boredom and tries out his version of a day job per his lawyer's advice. Junior meets a new friend. Richie is using the trash route to move all white bricks. And Dr. Melfi wonders if her patients are causing her to drink. This is episode 11 of season 2 titled House Arrest.
Thank you for that, Spike Lou. So we get a scene right away. I think it says a zone bros. We see this trash garbage man dump all of his trash at the deli catering, and the guy is pissed and mad, and then he ends up calling Richie. And Richie's just making a whole joke about this whole scenario, about dumping and refunding them their own garbage.
He said, "We give it back."
We give it. It's crazy. Oh man, that's a subject in itself. But in this small scene right here, Rich, what did you get from this whole interaction with the trash dumping in reverse and the phone call?
Hey man, the first thing I thought to myself was, I'm not fucking going. I'm not going. You just jumping all that trash and just leaving it. I don't know if he knows who he's directly dealing with, but there's more of an uproar than just yelling and telling y'all to come pick up this garbage. Like, I'm just the type of person that I'm not going for that. Like, y'all out y'all mind. But yeah, it's just Richie being a dick, man. He's trying to make up his braid. He figures I can't do what I need to do, so I'm gonna make Tony's life a little bit difficult. And do these unsanctioned things, just do stuff behind his back. And this has nothing to do with what he does later on in the episode, but he just feels that he needs to make up his ends. All right, you won't let me earn this way? I'm gonna earn this way. I'm gonna dump the shit back because he made a complaint and charge him double to make some extra bread. That's just wild. But he just being a dick.
Yeah, what say you, Spike?
This makes me kind of racist, but I looked at dude and I was like, he probably deserved that. Just from previous experiences. I don't know this character from nobody,
I know what you're
bro.
saying, though.
But the whole time I'm thinking like he probably did, like he deserved that. And I don't know if it's like character bias because we fuck with the people in the show or whatnot, but I didn't feel one shred of empathy for this dude because I feel like that he talked crazy to black customers. I feel like that he's rude to a motherfucker. And so I'm looking at this like, yeah, this nigga deserved all of it. Drop all the trash like that.
He the type of nigga that charge $1.19 for the Arizona, even though it say 99
and it's 99 cents on the can.
It say 99 cents on the can, man. Come on, bro. What you
want? That's him. So
Yeah,
I definitely felt. I feel like he deserved this. I ain't even gonna hold you. And I know it's racist, but I just feel like he deserved it.
It's funny you say that because I didn't even think about the fact that I should have felt bad for dude, but I didn't think that at all.
I didn't feel bad.
Wouldn't let that happen to me.
Right, I didn't feel bad for him in no sense of the word. I didn't wonder how he was gonna get it up. I just, like you said, I thought he deserved this shit.
Yeah, if I was walking on the street, I'd have just looked at it. If I saw that shit happen in real time walking by, like, I'd just been like, damn, that's fucked up, and kept moving.
You know us.
Buddy. Right, exactly.
You know us. We like, oh, well, man, dang. But yeah, I thought it was funny too.
Trash too.
Oh man, it was produce, all kind of.
It ain't even no bags. Like it's just the shit that's gonna bring out the rats.
Oh man, bro. I mean, I can't tell you the level of frustration. Like I've been in a house and it was flooded when we got home because the water heater bursted, and that feeling of hearing that splat, splat, splat when you step and look down all the water on flooded your house.
In your house,
and you just stand there for a second and you so mad. And that's just water. Garbage, and it's your business. This is not even like, oh man, well, I gotta tell the boss somebody did. This is his business. So it's like you gotta handle this. Oh man. I thought it was funny. I thought it kind of felt, weirdly enough, it felt like some Grand Theft Auto type stuff for me for some reason. I don't know. It really felt like some like loading screen. I don't know. It's just kind of funny looking scene. But we get the next scene, we get Tony. He visits his lawyer, and his lawyer giving it to him crazy. Like, hey, yo, bro, look, you got to insulate. You need to fall back. You way too in the scene. You barely got off on this murder. You need to fall back. Tony feeling good about himself, but he takes the advice. What did you think about this, Spike?
He bought that man a case of Don P, not a bottle, whole case of Dom Perignon, to show his, gratitude for what the lawyer had done to him. But he's giving Tony good advice. Insulate yourself. You need to stop hanging at the strip club. We obviously know they're looking now. They're probably building a case. Everything that he said to Tony, Tony knows that he's right. Knows he has to listen to him because he's trying to stay free. He don't want to be fucking locked up. So I like the scene. I think it set a good precedent for the episode as to the shit that we seen Tony like go through in this episode, how he dealt with it.
I agree. What about you, Rich?
Absolutely. I feel the same, man. I also just love, I know we mentioned this last week, but I love the relationship between Tony and his attorney from the business aspect of it. Like, he can give him some great sound legal advice that he needs to hear. And even though Tony's annoyed, he knows this is the right thing to do. Like, bruh, I can easily, we used to, sleazy lawyers or the people that just kind of rest on their laurels as far as like this bread gonna come in any way. Like, how many lawyers do we know that would have taken the bread, like, or taken some of that money out of that? Not taking it behind his back, but what I mean is when Tony offered, how much do I owe you? They might have had an invoice written up, like, yo, there's something. Nah, bro, like, I got you.
In the mail.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just a good relationship of, I feel, I never felt like Levy cared about his clients in The Wire. He's just a scumbag. He's a terrible human being. I feel like he cares about Tony and his business beyond the financial gain for him. Like, yo, lay low. Like, what are you? These are shenanigans. Like, that's advice he would give his son or anybody that he loves or cares about. Versus just taking that bread. So I like that.
That's an interesting point that you make because, like you said, with Levy, he looked at his clients like the next nigga up from The Wire. I think it speaks to Tony's personality because even with the FBI dude, brought his partner down there to meet Tony and, hey, this is Tony. It ain't a contentious relationship. It's like they really respect Tony and they rooting for him. He just happens to be a bad guy or mafia boss. Yeah, absolutely,
man.
And
absolutely. And the feds is a business. That whole speech, like, that's just sound advice.
That was. At some point, they want to cash in on their investment. Niggas need to hear that. You think they taking these pictures and doing all this shit for nothing and tapping these phones, my nigga? Yes, they gonna want to at some point cash in on their investment.
The feds listening, nigga. What money? With the attorney, I like him, and he seems like he's a guy that has represented a lot of these wise guys. He seemed like he OG in this regard. Where he was representing Junior as well, right? In the first season?
Yeah, he probably does all of them. He probably got a conglomerate.
So, but Tony is probably, we talk about Tony being charming and he just has that effect on people. I imagine he has that, like, and dude probably had an invoice, but he's playing the long game too. Like, that's, I don't think it's so good-hearted of him. Look who you're representing. But I think that it's more of there's a long play here. Like, I'd rather have him as a client for the later big play than write him up an invoice at this moment. But yeah, I think it's cool, and he gives them, like you said, sound advice, and just try to say, like, bro, go back to waste management. Like, you're gonna be bored all this. You need to go to your actual places you make money and get involved in those business. And it's funny to me because we always look at these shows and we always look at people that get the bag, and we're like, bro, why can't you just chill out? And this episode is gonna show us why it's so hard to chill out. Because while you have this money and success, you should be able to just go to your golf club or go spend a bag at the mall or go hang with your wife, go do something, fly on the boat. That's not your nature. And that's a lot of times we don't never bring that into play when we talk about people in this space when they've made it, how that goes against their nature to just chill out, even though they've made this money. So this is just going to be a very interesting conversation in this episode. Attorney was fly too. I did really like that tie. But scene 3, we get Junior has surgery on his back. It looks like they put a stent in his back. So great callback to when he fell in the shower. But Junior's he has a big thing about always looking like a man, always looking like having a certain kind of regal respect the way he carries himself. This is an ongoing theme in this episode, but what did you get from this interaction in the
ongoing theme in his life?
It really in his life, yeah.
Even back to Many Saints of Newark, like we see this like throughout his life. of him trying to hold up that prestigious, what people think a mob boss would be. But my bad, go ahead.
Oh no, but yeah, I was just gonna say so. We find out about his heart, and so we get some more information, some updates with him. Then we get. I feel like I need a bell or some kind of sound. We get our first black character. I don't know. It may have been a few episodes. The black character, the black character who get is Marshall McLuhan. McLuhan.
Marshall McLuhan.
Please, I would throw the ball.
They give you the important jobs, huh?
Okay, that's where I was getting at. Go, take it from there. What are they getting at with the important job thing, and what was she getting at with this joke? I looked up the person that she's talking about, and I didn't quite catch it.
Was it a person?
Yeah. So all right, so the important job thing, that's just a shot. You could take that many ways, man. Yeah. I don't know if it was a black reference per se versus whatever one of you marshals, because you got to think, even though Italians and they have a touchy relationship. I'm saying that very nicely. A touchy relationship with black people. They also don't like law enforcement. So he got the double whammy there. So you like your black ass really shouldn't even be this high up in the ranks, and then you work this hard just to be the nigga that comes to the hospital and put ankle monitors on. Oh, you the important job, son. You ain't here doing nothing. Pretty much making him lesser. We talked about the whole man aspect. He doesn't like to be viewed lesser than, but he'll put another man down. The Marshall McLuhan thing was interesting. So he's a Canadian philosopher.
Yeah.
And if you really want to get deep, I think because one of his like theories or whatever you want to call it was the medium being more than the medium meaning more than the content, which is it doesn't really matter exactly what you talk about each episode. And we can see that, a lot of people call this like the Seinfeld episode. It's an episode about nothing. It doesn't matter the events of what happened. They built up this world and these characters to where you're interested. Everybody has a life where you have days or weeks or however long where ain't shit going on. You really don't have nothing to talk about. They do a great job in this whole episode of setting up small, mundane things that they might not do in some more detail-heavy episode. There's multiple times where they're talking about the Nets. That's just general conversation. If I walk in the office of people I don't really fuck with, hey, good morning. Oh, did you see the game last night? Oh, yeah, I saw that shit crazy. Go to my desk and do my thing. And they're just showing that. I think that's what I took from it, just because of who that person is and his idea that it wasn't really popular. Like I said, the content isn't as important as the characteristics, and them just amplifying that in this episode. But the fact that was his name, that's some nerd shit. Like most people wouldn't even know who Marshall McLuhan is. So I think they just on some nerd, like, oh, okay then.
Yeah,
I thought it was like a TV show reference or a detective reference or some shit like that.
Yeah, you see, and it goes to show kind of what lifestyles they live, because it went right over Junior's head. Like they know in this medical world, in this professional world, exactly who this philosopher and his theories and all that. But Junior's like, I don't know who the fuck that is.
What the fuck y'all talking about?
You know what I mean? That's like, I'll never forget. Shout out to my boy Brian, since we're speaking about The Sopranos. One day he was asking, we were talking about just rock bands. He a white dude. He's asking about rock bands and stuff like that, talking about Journey. So I don't know who Journey is. Like, you don't know Journey? He started doing the Don't Start Believing. I'm like, oh, I know that song. I don't know them. Yeah. And that happens a lot where you know something, but you don't know who the people are. And people look at you like you crazy. Like, how do you not know
Great
them?
Example.
Bro, that was the first time that I heard that song when they played it here.
For real?
And that was the first time that I think that I've ever heard that song or paid attention to.
Yeah, paid attention
and
probably.
To understand that it's like a cult white people song. Like it's our amazing Frankie Beverly, like Happy People or some shit
Straight
like
up.
that. But them, yeah, it's
straight up, man. And it reminds me on the flip side, when white people they've never heard or seen the Five Heartbeats. And it just blows my mind how big of a movie that is to us in the culture, but to them that means nothing. So that's I look at that like this, like, yo, we live in such different worlds. It's crazy that we actually occupy the same space.
It is.
That's great. That's a good pull.
That's a great pull. Did you get anything else from this scene, Spike?
Nah, this is pretty much it. That he, other than him being hit with the ankle bracelet and that being the theme of the episode, seeing where they were going with that, and then the friend, the older lady that
Catherine,
looking to hang around Junior, and Catherine, yeah, that had I guess she had a crush on Junior, which is the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, I can't
But
wait to
yeah,
get there.
that was it.
Man, this is a prime Junior episode, man.
Yeah, they brought us
This is a
back because
prime
we hadn't
Junior
got him in a
episode.
while, and it was good. It was good
Classic
to.
Junior.
It was really good to get him back since season one where we got more Junior focused episodes. It's funny too. We get the later line. We're not there yet, but like the later line, Junior, you know how I feel about feet. And so it's funny here with the dude putting his ankle monitor on his foot. And then also the last episode say I get these sneakers to the little black kid. So I don't know if like feet is some kind of theme. It could be, it may not be anything. But I just think, the stack shoe in Melfi's office, I don't know if that's a thing. I'm not about to get overly analytical about it, but I just thought it was kind of a funny thing here. So yeah. But yeah, okay. We go to the Sopranos household. It's another day for Carmela. She's fly. She coming through. Tony's looking out the window just with this like sad puppy dog eyes, and she's getting ready to go get her eyebrows done. Just a regular day, and she was like, "All right, well, I'll let you." What are they trying to lead us to believe with Tony just kind of looking out the window? Either one of y'all jump in here.
I think it took me a couple watchings of this series to really understand where she was coming from. When she's not really receptive of Tony's therapy. And she always does this, oh, woe is me thing. Like you act like everything in the world is wrong with you. Mm-hmm. And I always kind of wondered why she did that. But this episode really helps it hit home. Like you moping around the fucking house, you just staring out the window. Like that has to be irritating to your significant other, to act like, oh, the whole fucking world is bad and I can't figure this out and this, that, and the third, and the feigning. Like I never really understood until this scene, really, when she's looking at him like, bro, what the fuck? Like you on medicine, you going through, like nigga, you seeing a psychiatrist? Like what are you doing? What's up? Like you up? Like it should be good, but you still moping the fucking around. So I could see what Carmela would be frustrated by that. And it took me a long time to get there. But this episode really does a good job because, like, we looking at it as fans, like, bro, like, who cares what the lawyer said? Go to the strip club, nigga, do something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, that's crazy.
I looked at this. I noticed in this scene where, you look at the episode title, it's called House Arrest. Mm-hmm. When we think about Uncle Junior, because he's actually on house arrest, but Tony's on house arrest in a sense as well. Right. Tony can't have no fun. Mm-hmm. He was in some bullshit, really got close to going away for a very long time. His lawyer, as we already discussed, told him, like, yo, you got to chill out. Go do something that's actually like on paper. Go show up to one of these legitimate jobs, show your face, this whole thing. But he's looking out the window with somebody like he can't go out and enjoy it, even though he can. Junior actually can. But Tony's he's doing the same thing Junior is as well. He's stuck. You know what I mean? He can't keep moving. And if you look at the scene, man, the room that he's in, even it looks like he's just walled off. Mm-hmm. So I just picked that up from this overall scene, man. Carmela, like you said, she just, what the fuck are you on? Like, what do you have to be sad about?
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
And here's why.
You know what else it reminds me? You know what else it reminds me of, real quick?
Yeah.
Tony's bored as hell. That's a theme throughout this episode. Mm-hmm. I thought about Meadows' line. It was the only scene she had in D-Girl when she was, they was on AJ ass about his beliefs and is that teacher teaching you that? And she mentioned one of the philosophers and said, the philosopher teaches pretty much you can choose between boredom and suffering. And that this is like the actual scene of that. Like Tony is bored out of his mind. Mm-hmm. And he can't do anything that he wants to do. So which one am I going to do? What's the purpose of this life shit?
Mm-hmm. Bored of stuff.
Yeah, that's a great pull. That's a great pull. Yeah, it's just such a challenge here because it's like I think back to the original White Man Can't Jump movie, the argument between Billy and Sidney where they're arguing and he's like, I know you, Sidney. You like he said you like to look good first, win after. And he said, me, I'd rather win first, look good after. And truthfully, Sidney liked to look good and win. And so it's like, I think that's kind of Tony, where it's like, I like to be rich and get off on these rackets, but I also want to enjoy myself while I'm doing it. I could get, people can, you know, they can send their envelopes up and pay up to me, and that's cool, and I'm living good, and I got the family and all that, but I want to enjoy the, you know, to be on some trash too. That's a part of this lifestyle. Like, he was a young buck trying to get made at one point, doing these little street scams to get on, and eventually when the books opened, he was, you know what I mean, trying to go through and get made. So it's like, this is a part of it. He's a soldier. That's the whole thing about part of being a soldier. It ain't just, I'm just protecting. I won't necessarily be in the kitchen. No, I want to have the strap and I want to be on the front line. So I think that it does speak to that mindset and mentality. Like, he wants to have it both ways. And I think where I can shoot bail for Carmella here is, like Spike was saying, one thing Carmella does, like, she has that same complex in a way where it's like, oh, here we go, you're down in the dumps again. But Carmella kind of snaps out of it. Tony kind of stays and sulks in it. And it's like, do you really have intention to change? So I don't know. I think they have different approaches. We have our down parts of Carmella too, but I think she kind of just, you know, takes a licking and keeps sticking, or so to speak. So, but yeah, that's a great little short scene. I don't know if I said it right.
Mo with the quotes, man. Take a lick and keep sticking. All right, Mo.
Well, you know, come on. We get this great shot scene of opening of Melfi counseling a couple. I think this is our first time seeing her counsel a couple. They have Melfi kind of in the middle, the way it's shot, and they eventually leave. We get her. She looks at her schedule and realizes that she got to meet with Tony at 2. And so she goes into her little cabinet and she got some Belvedere, some top shelf stuff. What did y'all gather from the scene? Because there's so much as far as her demeanor. So what did y'all get from the scene, Spike Lou?
I wonder if she dealing with the same thing that Tony is. Like, is she bored with the regular customers, bored with the regular patrons, like just going through the motions? And then when Tony comes, she has to take the edge off because she's, I wouldn't say excited, but this is out of the norm, as we hear her talk to Elliot about later. So she kind of takes that drink, I feel like, to take the edge off. So she won't be overly anxious or overly, whatever it may be, overextended when she's talking to him, because she does realize this is a lot different from the rest of the cases and the things that she does. And she's not sure if this is good for her or if it's something that's causing her to drink. So I really like the fact that it shows indirectly Dr. Melfi kind of in the same place. Like, I'm bored with this. Like, I'm not getting anything from this unless I'm talking to Tony, and that shouldn't be the rush that I'm getting from this. That's what I got from this.
Whoa. So you're saying this is not Tony induced. It's everything but Tony.
Yeah, it's the other shit for her. As we've seen later on in the scene with her son. Like, it shows that she's at her wit's end with what she's doing as well. Just like Tony, just like Junior, a form of house arrest in her profession.
So, wow. Hey, man, that's a great pull. Like, that form of house arrest in her profession. Also, like I said, this is just that regularness of life that I told you. The show, this episode does a very good job of just throwing little subtle things. Mo, you pointed out, it's the first time you really seen her counsel a couple. Why they normally wouldn't show something like that. They did it just to show, hey, Melfi has a life outside of treating Tony Soprano. She has other patients. She has other things. This regular bored shit that I don't want to do. She's got the prize jewel in being able to treat Tony. Not everything is going to come up to that. It's not going to lead up to that. You know, yeah, everything Spike said though was spot on in my opinion. I think that she knows that she has to, you know, it's a different world. It's an escape. She can't treat Tony like everybody else because Tony's not like everybody else. So if I need to take a shot of Belvy before I treat him, then that's cool, and it's within line. We talk all the time about how Tony lives in this world where he makes his own rules, and it's accepted by everybody in that world. Well, Melfi is now putting stuff in our own hands. Well, all right, then cool. If I got to deal with this type of level, then I can make my own rules. It's okay if I have a drink. She's justifying that shit to herself.
Yeah, it's shouts out to a listener of ours, Chris Falone. I've spoke about him. He's a very active listener, so he always DMs about the show and stuff. he was saying that we should do kind of like the Talking Sopranos. They did like a wingometer on Paulie's wings and how he had it died. We should do like a Melfi Lego meter. So I don't know how to do that, but the legs
is a nice Melfi leg.
Oh, there's two. We got some. Yeah, we got some joints this episode. I was like, chill out, Jennifer. Like, you better chill out. But for real, she was in effect this episode.
Legging in this episode.
They was legging for sure. But it's
I
funny.
also think real quick, and my fault. Go ahead, Mo. I just had a point that I was gonna make. I'm a movie nigga. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that you noticed like right away, like the Belvy didn't hit because she said, "So what's up?" Like that ain't how you know what I mean? That ain't how you intro your what's up? Are you kidding me? You are a professional with your paperwork on the wall. Talk about what's up?
I like that. I like how you could tell too that like it hit her.
Lorraine
like,
Bracco
even later
killed
when Tony asked her. Yeah, when Tony asked, he like, bitch, is you on something? Like after she was prescribed the medicine. Like I love how you could tell. Like, bitch, you ain't something wrong.
Yeah.
100%. 100%, man. The acting, the writing in this show was incredible. And I just want to point something out. They made a very small reference. You know, when Tony's talking about he was watching a movie with Gwyneth Paltrow. And she's like, sliding doors? No, 7. Sliding Doors, I don't know if y'all hip to it, ever seen it. Sliding Doors is a film about a woman who has 2 paths to take, almost like some butterfly effect shit. Both of those paths, spoiler alert, anybody who hasn't seen the movie, both of those paths lead to death, like everything else in life. And I think that with the theme of this episode talking about that, it's all one big distraction until we die. Junior has a line where he says that we're all going to end up at the cemetery. The fact that they use that movie in particular, and only in passing, they don't. And like I've said this before, they don't give it to you. They just put it in there. If you catch it, you catch it. If you don't, you don't. And I thought about that, like, damn, like based on what that movie's about and what this episode's about, the writing room is fucking brilliant.
7, yeah, that is true.
Not the 7 movie, but the Sliding Doors movie.
The Sliding Doors.
Gotcha. Yeah, so the movies they talked about 7, which is about 7 deadly sins and all that. But her just passively mentioning Sliding Doors, which is a movie about Gwyneth Paltrow having to choose these 2 paths, debating on is it the right one or not, and at the end of the day, they both lead to her death. It just tied in so perfectly with this episode.
That's a great pull, and it ties back to AJ's issue a few episodes ago, where his teachers was teaching him at his Catholic school, where he's talking about death, and when she was going back and forth with Tony, saying that it doesn't matter what you do, the dread of our life is to know that it all ends up landing here to death. And then he was like, I think the kid has a point. So it's like, just like you're saying, it's this, and that's a great pull because it kind of, when we get to the end, it all lines up when I feel that Tony's process, like, okay, if I'm in this, I got to do it my way because it's no matter what, I could still be over here low and do this. Now, it kind of comes down to, does Tony want to be an old man or not? But I do think it's interesting about the 7 movie that he said is that he was like, I'm watching it. They want us to figure out the killer. Why would I care to figure out the killer?
Why I give a fuck?
Why? Yeah, right. Like, why do I care? What does this got to do with me? But it's funny because he is a killer. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it doesn't register. That's a small, subtle. If you really watch this, we talk about like these little psychotic things that come out of Tony. They button it up as civilian parts of Tony, but it's really I feel it's like the psychotic part of it that he's trying to like dim down until it finally comes out in season 6. You know what I'm saying? So that's just one of those things. Like last episode, I didn't do nothing. Like you literally killed him. If he had somebody talking, it's that psychotic thing Tony got. So I think that whole killer, why do I care? It's because you're the killer. So you don't identify with that. With the ladies trying to find out who the killer is or whatever. So, or I mean the agents or whatever. But
Mo, you ever seen 7?
No, I always see it in like these top 10 lists all the time, and I've never gotten around to watch it. But it's been spoiled for me.
Probably would have the same reaction that Tony has.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
You think so?
Would be the same.
That's
I think
crazy.
you would have the same reaction as Tony. 7's a good ass movie though. 7's
yeah,
fine.
it really is. It really is.
And then just a couple more things in the scene. Tony makes a joke and Melfi has the stale face, and she just tells him go on. Like she's not really in it. But I did want to say that when he was talking about television and all of these other things, the series of distractions until you die. Y'all think that's kind of it? Is that like life summed up? A series of distractions? Because that was heavy to me.
Depends on how you.
That shit hit. That was a bar.
Boy.
A series of distractions till you die. Like I like, well, goddamn.
I know. I had to let it marinate, boy. Yeah. Dang. Why y'all do that, man?
Gotta make the most out of it, man. You gotta make the most out of your moment.
You know, absolutely. I was like, why y'all do that?
We all know the end. That's the thing about life. We all know the end.
You know what happens, right? You know what happens at the end. We all know the end of this movie. What are you doing in between?
Yeah, I guess so, man. All right. But yeah, shouts out to Lauren Bracco. She really tapped into that floating in and out of drunk and sober in this session. We get Junior. He leaves the hospital, and he meets an old friend. This old friend was the woman in the prior scene, Catherine, and they're having a conversation. And Junior stands up because we talk about him being old school now since we got Richie on the scene, and he cares about the optics of how he looks. We've seen all of that in season 1, you know, him getting tailored, and so that's big for him. So he stands up because he wants her to see him at the best, which I wasn't mad at Junior doing these little things to try to, because he wasn't going crazy on trying to like really make himself look like Superman and then like he was just trying to hold himself up more in a better status than he really was. But what did y'all get from this scene? There's an interaction with her and her son, and he walks off and gotta go take a phone call. Spike, what did you get from this interaction?
Go first, Rich. I want to see what you think.
It wasn't really much here other than Junior, like we kind of trying to figure out, like the fact that she really shooting at him. Like she is really putting on some, yo, I'm into you. Like I like you. I'm trying to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. But Junior just, Mo, you said it perfectly as well. The way he views himself, how a man should look. But it's really just catching up. Like Junior knows other people. This is a mundane thing. Junior also has a life outside of this thing of theirs. He has a past. He has something going on. This is just some regular schmegular shit that just happens. And of course, the black man, you know, call the cop, and then the black man coming through, and his Junior actually sitting down. But yeah, nothing else. It was just a filler scene, in my opinion, just to show there might be some kind of interest that Junior has, especially why he's on house arrest, bored, and looking for a new interest.
Mm-hmm. People can relate to getting old, and that's what I took from this scene. Like they are establishing a friendship just from being old. Yeah. Oh, I had this surgery. Oh, such and such has died. Like old people do this. I think one of the best things in the scene though was the son and how smug he was with Junior because he's a cop. He knows what Junior does. Junior kind of plays it off. And without even saying much, we seen the whole approach that he had for Junior. Like, man, fuck this dude. And all of that was very interesting. And Junior still trying to like buck, stand up out of the chair. What you gonna do? Call the police? And the black dude comes. And like you said, Rich, and he's just down here. He's like, come on, bro, chill. Like, what you gonna do? And Junior literally goes through in his head like, well, I mean, I could do something. If it came to it, but you know what? I'm gonna sit down. So I think it shows age and how it's affecting Junior as far as him being more. I can relate to old people more so than I can relate to mafiosos now.
Damn, that's a good point.
That's a good point. He was watching soap operas the last episode. Yeah, he's definitely on that. And I think it's funny too. Like we keep talking about the black nurse, like Sir the chair. I'm glad he sat down because, be honest, man, if Junior didn't sit down, he was gonna be a shopping cart like Richie.
Ooh, shit, man. That's
seriously though, it's like, bro, you got.
I like how he contemplated though. He really had to make this decision.
He really did because he's really from that. He's really from that. Like he ain't the toughest dude. Have
no clue, my nigga.
Yeah, but
that might go.
Yeah, go ahead.
My fault, man. That might go on the Spike's point of even more. Like the fact that 20 years ago. Nah, nigga, I ain't. So he probably wouldn't have said. He might have said. Nigga,
he might have said it.
Right, he would have said nigga.
Yeah, man, I ain't sitting down nowhere, man. Well, you got to take me out. You got to force me to sit down. So yeah, just that getting old shit.
It really is. Yeah, that you're right though. That man, we love Uncle Junior.
Do we?
I was gonna say,
what, we don't love Uncle Junior? Y'all ain't got love for the West Coast. Y'all don't love Uncle Junior.
Junior.
He's entertaining, but I ain't got no holler for Junior, man.
So is it hate for him, or y'all just in a neutral place? It's like,
nah, fuck
that other guy.
It ain't no neutral at all. Like, fuck him.
I thought you was cool with it. I thought we had that understanding.
Nah, Junior is a great character.
Yeah, after many Saints of Newark and seeing how he like,
yeah, but Tony
he's a really good character. Yeah, you agree? I agree with that.
Oh, you just saying
I don't fuck with him at all.
What makes y'all not rock with him for real? Like not the character, but like I guess if we're looking at it, because I mean obviously Tony is right in that lane, but we just, you know what I mean? Why don't we rock with Junior?
I mean, how much time we got?
what
are we talking about?
How much time do we got? It's crazy. Damn.
I love Junior as a character, man. Like I said, I don't
really
hate
good
Junior
Sopranos character.
Yeah, he's a really good Sopranos character, but just morally, ethically, just the shit that he tried to pull, especially season 1, Junior was an absolute scumbag.
Yeah,
it was many Saints of Newark for me. Like just seeing the whole setup and how he got in.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all ain't seen that yet, y'all watching The Sopranos, check that out. But yeah, it's like Junior whole character is flawed, bro.
But Tony does the same thing in that same lineage, though.
Junior, but that's what I'm saying. Tony is deserving, I feel like, of his errors, like the things that he does and how he fucks up. Like he's man enough to be like, well, shit, can't be perfect. Junior's just a bitch ass nigga, man. Like Junior, I feel like he's a pretender. Yeah, he like a real pretender, and a lot of his decisions are based off him being a pretender, trying to look good for somebody else. Tony really that nigga. Junior not. Junior is like a fake fraud. That's why I don't fuck with him. He comes off as a fraud.
Yeah, Junior, man, they ain't do Junior any kind of justice with the way they portray him in Many Saints.
Not at all.
Like, there's no way you can leave, especially with how everything, no spoilers, but how with everything goes down and just the way he goes about it. Like, stand on your. We always talk about, like, I think one of the things we respect about Tony, because at least he stands on his shit. Facts. He admits his faults and all that.
To a degree. Y'all really give it.
Y'all reach ass nigga though.
Yeah.
Tony know he Tony. All
right. Because y'all be really letting that coattail of Tony, and we get later seasons, and it's like Tony really start to, like, you know what I mean? But I get it.
I'm looking at this from where we are in this series right now. Everything we know about this series. I try not to jump ahead too far.
Okay.
From everything
but we using Many Saints, so we kind of gotta.
That's a separate project, and it's just
and that's supposed to be before anyway.
It is before, but we're using it as a whole contextual, because if we're operating where we're at now, even though the timeline is before the release of it, technically ain't. So the context is a little. But I get it. I mean, yeah, okay. Well, we get some more respectable bosses down the road. But we pan over to Barone Sanitation. We got this dog going crazy over here, bro. Whew, I know I didn't seen dogs like this. From what?
Do y'all think there was some filmmaking David Chase and that was Tony?
What would? Oh, the dog.
That's what I thought. I thought that, like, it's on a short leash, it's going crazy, it's barking at everything around him. I felt like that was like a portrayal of Tony in this episode. I want to get loose. I want to fucking fuck the world up, but I got this chain on, and all I can do is sit here and bark.
I like that. Damn, I like that.
That ain't even only Spike Smoke. Fly. Where are you going with this, man? He came up with the left on us.
That's what I got from it. Yeah, I mean, of course, we've all looked at this series several times, and I always wonder, like, why just show that random ass dog right there with the short ass chain going crazy? And I feel like it's just a representation. And Tony, of course, in the background, walking up in the Suburban or whatnot, it's a representation of him.
I think
that's a hell of a pull, because the dog plays a purpose in the later scene. But the fact that you use it for that, I never thought of it like that. But now that you explain it, that is Tony in this episode, and the idea of house arrest being restrained. Dog want nothing more but to get off the leash, just like Tony.
Yep,
that's a great pull.
So we find out in the scene, Richie has been moving drugs on the routes. And man, I mean, Tony's face. Well, Tony was he kind of already knew what was up. So this wasn't like the moment yet. But Tony goes in and he sees his office. They got all this stuff stacked up or whatever. He got a young little secretary, talks about Iraq or whatever. This is just me. Like just no extra credentials. Just but
That's right.
yeah. But
born again Christian too.
Yeah. and look, Tony is so Tony's so wild. That's excitement to him. Okay. This is excitement. This is Tony's life right now. Oh, that's a challenge. That's that my nature is coming out.
Let me see, can I break her?
Let me see if I can break her. Like clearly that's Tony's intent right here.
That's a dirty nigga right
He really is, boy. He was like, oh yeah, you really put the seasoning on it now. Like, Tony's wild for that boy. Oh yeah. When a man say, oh yeah. It's
word. Oh, okay.
Born again Christian.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, man. Hey, how many times can men relate to, man? I'm bored. So what I want to do, I'm about to do.
Right.
Just who we got at work.
Start sending some text messages out.
What's up with you? Right.
Yeah, man. What you up?
What you up to? What you got going up?
That's men. 100%.
Yeah, that's definitely that. It's just funny. It's just a little funny stuff. But I did like his. It looked like an operating manager. I think he was pretty cool. Running the thing. I mean, he wasn't gonna buck against Tony, but I think he was pretty cool about. Like, yo, let's get this fixed. The boss is here and all that. But he wasn't like necessarily like a peon. I thought he was just a cool fit for the role. I liked him. I think it's probably maybe the only episode we see him in, but I could stand corrected.
It's crazy. Tony ain't been there in 8 years.
They said 8 years?
Yeah, 8 years. He said, I haven't been, when he walked in his office with the boxes, damn, I haven't been here in 8 years, and this is how my office looks.
Wow. I mean, that's just kind of a given, though.
Yeah, I would expect him to at least pop in maybe a couple times a year. Nothing crazy, but just to keep it. But I guess if you don't have to, if I'm doing my stuff and this is all on paper.
Yeah. Yes, I guess that's a no-show call. I mean, a no-show job for him.
Yeah, definitely a no-show job. And maybe, well, like I said, we won't go too far in the series, but there's another, jobs that they have that they show up to a lot more.
Yes. That's why they want specific ones. Yeah, because we get Melfi and Elliot's session, and they're having this conversation, and she's going down. She said she's upset because she said we talked about the RICO Act and everything, and so here we go, Melfi with Elliot, and she's playing this different tune, just like how Tony does when he's with her, playing a different tune than how her actual reality sets out. The Sopranos are doing something Twilight Zone-y to me with this, because it's Tony's in a session with Melfi, and Melfi is being a version of herself for Tony for the sessions, though therapy is supposed to be built on realness, honesty, authenticity. But in the same time of her being in his therapy session, that's her life in his life interchanged. And then she goes into therapy with another therapist talking about her therapy with him. And then we got the earlier scene like, well, I think it'd be therapeutic for me to go back. So it's this weird twist of layering that they're doing, which is just super genius here. But what did y'all get from this scene right here? Because she's all like rubbing her hands weird and kind of in and out of what she wants to do. Spike Lou, what did you think about this session? I know y'all don't like Elliot. I mean, nobody really likes Elliot, but
yeah, Elliot a dirt punk. I wonder, other than like he's adamantly pushing, like trying to push Tony out the door. Why are you treating him? Can't be helped. There's really no root in it other than I guess he just doesn't agree with Tony's lifestyle. I think that he's discrediting Dr. Melfi and her profession as far as saying that she can't help him. And I don't think that they ever really addressed it. And I think that would have been a good topic for them to go over. Because just as she comes to him as a professional, and I want you to treat me, he should believe that a fellow colleague of his should be able to get some type of breakthrough with Tony. And I think that's the main thing that fuels her. She's thinking, oh, well, you're telling me to quit, husband, my kid, they're telling me to quit, but I think that I'm good enough to get a breakthrough, and nobody's really acknowledging the fact of how good a psychiatrist she is to even go through the whole thing with him for 6 years. So that's the reason behind not liking Elliot for me. In this scene, she does, though, come off as unhinged. She does come off as a person who's not really dealing with life as she should be, especially knowing that she's giving people advice. So he does the right thing into calling that out on her, but I still feel like that they're discrediting her as a psychiatrist to always say, well, you should give this patient up. And I think that's how she's taking it. And that's why she's always so defensive on, I'm going to continue treating Tony Soprano.
I think that was well said. I don't really have much follow-up on that. Ties back when she talked, she made that mention about watching a train wreck. You can't stop, but that exclusive access, she can't stop seeing Tony because she would never have an opportunity to treat someone like that for the most part ever in her life again or in her career. So it's harder for her to kind of end the therapy session because he's not ready. I mean, Ellie is not there, and I get that, but we know Tony's not ready to end therapy. For sure, man. And how much Melfi's learning. She was talking about the Rico act, and she used to think Rico was a relative of his. She's actually learning that world now. And we've seen that throughout the season where she just talks his language a little bit more. And I think that is having somewhat of an effect maybe on her, but yeah, she got other stuff going on too, man. Melfi's just a little bit unhinged right now.
Yeah, she definitely not bringing everything to the forefront because I think to Spike's point on the previous scene was like she kind of lives for this. But it's like I'm gonna use a really bad example. Yeah, please don't. It's the woman that you have something going on and you guys, y'all lock in on some, some intimacy a few times, but every time you leave, you're always questioning, why am I doing this? I don't like you like that. The minute it's over, you're like, I can't stand to hear you talk. We don't have nothing in common. But then you keep finding yourself back in that position because when the moment is there, it's everything. And it's like, that's kind of what it feels like to me with Melfi, where it's like, this is your excitement. We see how kind of mundane and boring her life is, which is fine because that's what she signed up for. That's the type of Italian woman she is. She's, but I think this, because even we see her husband in the first season where they go through the divorce and everything. And so she has such a regular life that Tony does. I think Spike might be on to something, like he kind of serves to that. But while you get that excitement and that thrill of the train wreck, it's scathing when you have to get these in between moments of, dang, this is who I'm really dealing with. You're really trash. You know what I'm saying? But it's just that weird, to me, it's like that kind of correlation that she keeps going back and forth about. She can't stop doing this with him,
Addicted.
I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at the example. I get it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, why do I keep doing this to myself?
Posting that clarity, real.
That's what it is. Like she keeps having that clarity every time. That's why she take a shot before. You see what I'm saying? Junior is set up at the home.
Get in the mood.
Yeah, get in the mood. Junior is set up at the home. Has this kind of young nurse. She's getting him set up, his breathing machine to help his breathing, his heart, and everything that's pulling on him, and she talks about the pounds and the cubic inches, and she talks about the arousal, and he makes this whole joke about arousals, and he gets.
I met you.
Yeah. What is this with Junior? And I've always had this question. I may have asked you before, Spike, but like, it's this thing Junior does where he knows how to spit game, but you would think he would have more ladies, or we've gotten the idea based on Many Saints that he's been intimate with a lot more ladies because he chose to be kind of single. Why is it not lining up?
I don't know if that was just true.
I mean, because we'll see. He gonna do this
game though. Like
it's
it ain't like
so?
Yeah, like it's old man, like flirty,
sugar
like,
daddy type vibes.
Yeah, this ain't pulling no bitches, man. And I think they do a good job of showing, like, yeah, he's slick. Yeah, he might have some good lines, but that shit don't work with regular bitches. Like it works because you an old man. It don't work, as we seen in Many Saints of Newark, with regular women your age when you were coming up. Like you just lame, like trying too hard or whatever it may be that they added that they make him out to be.
Mm-hmm.
It comes off as that. Like this is only working because he's an old man. This is the only reason that he can say this shit.
Mm.
And I to go even further, it doesn't work. We find out later in the episode she doesn't come back. She bounced. She was supposed to come back for an appointment. She probably requested, like, yo, I'm not going back to that creepy old man
pervert house.
Yeah, talking about arousal and stuff like that. And I love how this scene, the way it's shot, and they show Junior over the shoulder. So you see Bobby clearly in the background. As soon as you said it, he just kind of like, what?
Like shaking his head.
He's shaking his head like, bro, this nigga really just said that. He knows it's corny. So it's just that old, yeah, I wasn't expecting to pull nothing off that, man. She's just like,
not going to be attracted to that shit.
Yeah. That's why she did. That's why she bounced. Yeah, I'm out, man. I'm not going to Corrado Soprano. Take that off my route. I'm done. I'm cool.
I'm never going back over there again.
And it's funny because we get a later scene with Tony is like no effort. You know what I mean? The clap, you know.
A couple looks.
Yeah, a couple looks.
That's you know what?
That goes to speak to the presence, though. That's what we're speaking about when you talk about the reason that we don't like Junior. He's a good character, but it shows the presence. Tony has that presence, so people fuck with him naturally. Mm-hmm. Junior tries too hard. So as a fan of Tony in the show, you're like, I don't like that.
And it's actually a nice callback to what Spike said earlier, man. Just getting old. You know what I mean? Even if it was to work on a couple back in the day, it's not working now. I'm officially at the age. Bro. Yeah, you know what I mean? It could be, you know, women will rock with some older dudes. That's their thing to some degree, but he's not past it. He's grandpa age now. He's not.
Facts.
That woman's not gonna. In any world would she ever consider, you know, laying down with Junior? It's not gonna happen.
Not in any world.
And he doesn't understand that I'm older now, because as humans, I think we might feel it in our bodies, but our mind, you know, we feel the same. We feel sharp. We feel fresh. But she don't look at me like I'm like it's 1975. She look at me like it's today.
Right.
Yeah, we get Catherine visits and she brings some Monaco, which is a funny thing because I think about Phil Leotardo. The compromise. I wanted Monaco. Mm-hmm. You know, so but we ain't there yet. But boy, I can't wait till we get to Phil Leotardo. One of my guys. Whoo, I can't wait. But I wanted to tie it back to, and I didn't get to speak about this before, but when Catherine came to the hospital early, just to tie back to this scene, she talked about having children, grandchildren, and she was only there for bunions. Junior, pretty much, he's not really had an crazy life like that, and he's here for a whole like back and heart condition. So it speaks the difference in the lifestyle you could truly live. Like, you want this lifestyle, but look at what it's cost you versus what you could have, but you keep turning it down. Kind of like Tony, you know. So, but tying here, he brings up the feet thing again. Well, this is the first time he brings the feet thing up. I was trying to get a feel for it. Is Junior into it, and he like Marcus Graham, like he's into it and he can't stand the fact you got bunions, or is it like I have a whole hate for it? I try to figure out what is this thing, like old school. Like, is this an old school thing? Like,
oh no,
I just think it's just a weird Junior quote. Like I said, this show is about this episode. Episode ain't about much, man. Just that little small mundane shit. Just that's a small detail that has nothing to do with how we care about Junior's character, but they threw it in there.
The big hand Seinfeld episode, like when the bitch had the big hands, the big hands.
Cracking them motherfuckers.
Cracking those, hey, boy. Oh man, like don't get me started on Seinfeld. I go crazy on Seinfeld.
That's a perfect reference though, because like I said, that's the show about nothing. This is the episode about nothing. This Sopranos episode, other than a couple things, is really just
nothing
about
happened.
Regular ass shit. Like, we just doing regular things. We gonna see how it looks.
You see foreshadowing what the grading system's probably gonna be.
Thanks.
But yeah, so we get Tony is at this. It looks like I guess this golfing.
The garbage man ball is
garbage man ball, as Richie calls it. Of course, Richie's
Garden State Karting Association presents the 13th annual Couples Invitational. So it's a golf event at the clubhouse.
So it's a golf event. It's funny because we got season 1 on the Boca episode, ironically enough, or is an episode that focused on Tony and Junior. We got this episode, and we get the golfing thing kind of ties back to that episode. And we had in that episode on season 1, Tony trying to fit in with those straight cut white men, so to speak, playing golf, and he didn't fit in. And now we're here, and there's this like you said, the anniversary, and now he's here with all of these kind of straight laced white people, so to speak. And again, having this like, but Carmela, rises to the occasion. It seems like she's just this is regular for me, bro. I'm chilling. I'm good. So what did y'all get just from the initial before we get to the element of Janice, or should I say Jan Soprano? She's Jan Soprano. But what did y'all get from this scene?
Wow.
Did y'all see her introduce herself that way?
Yeah, Jan Soprano is nuts.
Yeah, man. I think so. The biggest thing is, and they tell us directly when Janice comes over to Tony. Tony tells her, "Man, look at you. You transformed."
Mm-hmm.
And that is very direct. What colors are she wearing?
Red and white.
You know what I'm saying? Red, white, and black. What's the color? What's the theme of this show?
Red,
you know,
white,
you look
black.
at the box sets, all that stuff, man. They use that in all their advertising.
And look at our backgrounds, man.
She's transformed. You get what I'm saying? So she's transformed. Think about how she looks episode 1.
Yeah.
Episode 2, when we first see her, how she's dressed, the hippie kind of lifestyle, to now I look like I'm in this life.
Mm-hmm.
I look like I'm meant to be a mob person's wife, a mob boss's wife. I've transformed completely. That provided I'm introducing myself as Jan, all that shit's going. It's out the window. I've transformed officially. I'm officially a part of this life now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no confusion about it. All in the span of one season.
Man.
I'm here. And she is a force to be reckoned with.
Yes, she is.
So yeah, that's one of the big things that I just took away from that moment, how they just laid that out for us. Even with the colors. The colors are what really impressed me. I'm like, they're really trying to show us this.
She's a part of his life now, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And how Tony was rejecting her too as being part of, like, look at you, you cleaned up well, never really being fully accepting of, okay, like, this is the new Janice. Like, he's really skeptical as their family. It runs in their family. His mom is that way with him. He's that way with her. He's that way with AJ. So I like the fact that Tony was like, I don't know. And we'll see in a couple episodes why.
Could you how many people can walk up on you, put their hand on the back of your neck like that, like he does Richie? I really try to think how many people in my entire life, in my 36 years of living,
definitely big boy Richie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of my 36 years of living, how many people could have got that off? Like, just walk up to me with the hand on the back of the neck. Definitely nobody my age or in my contemporary.
Like being serious.
Oh yeah, not even on even joking. Like, bro,
nobody got that joke off on you before to like shoulder tight. You look, oh, okay, it's just bro.
On some joking, it's got to be a genuine joke. I'm talking about coming up, squeezing that shit, really trying to. You don't get the fuck on.
Like, come here, let me talk to you, type shit. Like,
yeah, let's go for this walk real quick. Like, what you doing?
Be a grown man, about, yo, Richie being Richie,
if another
Richie being 60 years
right
old
now, put his hand on the back of your neck. You doing that, Jamie? Get your fucking hands off me! The fuck is you on?
Well, look. So look, here's what's funny, bro. So Richie being 60 years old.
Yeah, bro.
Put his hand
Tony being like 35.
Come here, let me holler at you.
Grabbing his shoulder.
And walking him out. Come on, bro. What you on? Come on.
And told him, and when we get here, I'm tired of your shit. I'm riding you like this, but I don't even want to have to do this.
I hate the fucking way you make me ride you some fucking
I hate the way you make
now
me
get
ride
the fuck out of here.
Bro,
right.
Look. So
Jesus.
So I think about
that man don't
man. So I thought about the executive game when Chris grabbed Richie. Like, get your hands off me. He said, boy, I got a hard-on for you. Like, I'll kill you, basically.
One more time.
So,
right.
but Tony grabs it with that, and he's like, man, like, bro, I'm sick of you. And then he just looked, and then Richie,
like a child, like,
bro,
you my little nigga.
So he told Richie this. He told Richie this in the mall. Richie got that blank look. He told Richie this at the funeral. He got that same look. He told Richie this at his mama's house.
Give me the mansion lamp.
Yeah, don't give me that. He like, oh man, David Proval, man. Oh, he just did such an excellent job because, man, he looked like, bro, you done told me that for the last time, bro. Like, oh, man. Grabbing that man by the shoulder like that. It's like, and he was functioning with the people and everything. Richie was getting corporate. And he just like, yeah, nah, bro, let me holler.
And that's the thing. The shoulder would even be okay, man. It's the back of the neck for me that I'm like, bro, what the fuck is you on? Get off my neck like that. And like Spike said, the speech that he gives them, and like you said, man, he is not Richie's not going. He's staring at him with that look like I would kill you right now.
Yeah. He want to kill him so bad, boy. If Tony was just a capo,
thing that we in. Yeah, only because of the rules of this thing that we in. Am I respecting you, my nigga?
And it makes me think if Tony hadn't been boss before Richie got out, and Junior was still boss, and Richie came in season 1, how interesting that could have been.
Would have had to kill Richie.
Yeah, they would have been at each other's neck, like real. That would have been but man, that.
You ever worked at a job and everybody salespeople or whatever the case may be, and then one of them get promoted to the manager, but y'all all done did the sales job together? It's hard to look at them with that same respect. Like, I don't, bro.
Yeah, because you right here with me, nigga. I can't tell me what to do.
Can't tell me what to do. I'm not about to respect that. If you do respect it as some G shit, or we have to eat, we either have to get it done. I respect you enough to know, I'm not gonna play you all the way to the left. But if you ask me for some outlandish shit, especially shit that you didn't do, like I'm telling you to fuck off. And I think that's how Richie would have played it if he was around. Like, brother, you a little nigga. Like, I remember. Right. Remember when you and Lil Jackie was running around?
Sister on the couch, nigga, when you was upstairs, nigga.
I'm about to take orders from you, nigga. That's what he looked. That's the look he's giving. Is that like, bro? You telling me I can't make no bread? I can't sell this coke on my route? And I was finger banging your sister. You know what I'm saying? 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Like, fuck out of here. And Richie was getting that off. It's like, oh yeah, we engaged. Like he just kind of passed Tony. Like he got some really good jabs off here. I really like Richie. Some of the jabs, he tried to really get some big dog, some stuff off. But man, Tony's looking around and he passes out. What do y'all think triggered him to pass out? Because we're going to see a later scene. But what do y'all think triggered him to pass out? And is this our first time getting a visual aesthetic of what it looks like when Tony's getting ready to pass out?
We had it when he was grilling the hot dogs, right?
I don't know if they showed us the visual. Well, no, maybe when he was driving the car, maybe. When he was driving the car.
Well, he had a dream when he was driving the car.
No, not that one. That was that one where he was playing the music. He started hitting the radio, poof, poof, and then he started like blinking fast, and he they slowed things down, and he ran into the little green box, electric box.
Yeah, the yellow pole. Yeah, okay. I think we've seen that before. It bothers me that Tony just didn't sit down. I hate that them chairs are right there behind him.
The same thing, like, bro, just have a seat, nigga.
Yeah, them chairs right behind him, and I'm like, bro,
just like sit down.
Same thing as Junior, bro. Same thing as Junior. Yeah. You want to look a certain way.
The white chick with the blue glasses dancing is top tier comedy, bro. Oh, she out there on that floor getting it.
She is doing it, man. Like
at a golf tournament, bro. Like this ain't even that type of party, my
Right.
Bro. Talking about Seinfeld, that is the equivalent of Elaine Bennis with the thumbs, bro. It's like, y'all want to dance? Let me get it started. Like this is this is the Elaine dance right here in the Sopranos world. Shout out to the Soprano Seinfeld blend pages. We're having a special guest on our finale that has one of those pages, so we building it up for y'all. But yeah, so Tony passes out and Janice drops down and Carmella drops down, and here we are. Speaking of Carmella, just for a quick second, Carmella had a she got the little tied hoodie around the neck off. Like, I just wanted to ask you, have y'all ever got that off before? Like
Carlton Banks?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. You ever got that off?
I've never had a desire to.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, I ain't never rocked it over my shoulders like that. Yeah, I ain't never really.
Yeah,
nigga may have tied his jacket around his waist when he was young.
Okay,
don't get me wrong. There was that era, that 2007, 8, 9 era when niggas was dressing up to go to the club and shit. So niggas had ties, cardigans, and jeans. Mm-hmm. And there was that era, but I never
the young LA, young Dro era.
The white boy black boy swag.
Yeah, there was that era where I do on some of that shit, but never like the over the shoulder. All that shit.
Tennis fit, not the tennis fit.
Right. Yeah, definitely not the tennis fit, man. I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, I ain't never had no desire.
I say Spike is the golfer now. I thought maybe, all right.
That is a good point, though. I do have to. I seen some niggas out there getting that off at the golf when I go out there on Saturday. So I would dabble in it in that
space. Okay.
In the golf world. Yeah, I ain't went to no club or nothing like that, yeah.
Nah, no club action over here.
Golf looked for sure.
I feel it. We get a small scene. Tony goes to the hospital after passing out, and Tony ultimately his issue is just like, yeah, it's not physical, right? Yeah, I thought that'd be good news. He's like, I wish it was physical so you can rip it out. You know, I thought that was a really heavy bar because there's a lot of us that may have internal thoughts and internal issues that are not physical. It's all in your mind, you know, and sometimes you're like, boy, I wish it was something physical so you can just get it out of me because I'm tired of feeling like this or thinking this way or being this type of whatever it is. So I thought this was a really heavy line, way ahead of its time. But what did y'all think about this hospital scene and even that line right there?
This is the This is the scene that when Spike was talking earlier about Tony looking out the window and Carmella just being on some like, what the fuck are you even going to, like, what's going on? Like, you going to all these appointments, you taking this medicine, you're not doing, this is her, what she really amplifies that. Like, normally you would see some kind of concern, you know, my husband just passed out, we in the hospital, like Carmella don't care. She's just mad about the fact that he still has a woman therapist and is not even helping. So what are we even paying for? We adding a wing onto her house with all the bread that we give her. You still having these panic attacks. It just looks at what Carmella's focused on versus there's no concern about what could possibly really be wrong and how we can fix it. I'm tired of this woman therapist.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, a great pull, Rich.
Yeah.
It's like you said, I'm not even concerned, and neither is Tony really at what's wrong. Give me something to do so I can fix it. If it's something that I can pull out or just you guys can take off, then tell me about it. Otherwise, you guys are just, it's white noise to them. And again, Carmella I'm fed up. Like, bro, you're falling out in the fucking middle of social events and you're going to this lady like every week and you're paying her an arm and a leg. I know how much you're paying her. So that was a great Carmella. That was a great pull, Rich.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. And the doctor took her shot too. Losing some weight wouldn't hurt.
Right, yeah. Since you want to be smart, bitch.
Right. I think you should really consider salad.
Right.
For real.
Tony was hot about that.
Boy, he was hot. Yeah, that's a blow to his self-esteem. We get a small scene at Junior's house. Big Bobby then coming back with some groceries. Junior asked, like, did you get my lady fingers? Are lady fingers chicken fingers?
Nah, it's like a cookie.
A type of cookie.
Oh, really? Okay. Mm-hmm. I never heard of this before.
That's why he said the crumb cake. Yeah, that'd have been a crazy transition from the
Yeah, they like an Italian style cookie.
Man, look at y'all.
You've seen them before.
Yeah?
Yeah, you've seen them before.
You've seen them before.
They're like got the vanilla shit in there, like Oreos in the middle, like long. Yeah, you've seen them. You've definitely seen them.
Okay. But he says, I got you a crumb cake. I got the Edmonds. In Junior's, we get a little foreshadowing. He's messing with the garbage disposal, but everything's not set up there yet. Bobby was saying, you got to get something set up there. But there's an interesting thing that Junior asked. He asked about Roberta, which me and Spike talked about in season 1. We were saying that, like, this is top tier for Junior. She was a nice piece. And he even acknowledged, like, yeah, she was a nice piece, basically. So I thought that was a real interesting thing. What do y'all think this is? Because he clearly has somebody interested, but he's more focused on Roberta. Why the look back on her? I guess I was trying to understand, what is his issue with Catherine? I mean, I guess we'll find out later. Like, she was kind of, she was some work back then for Johnny, but at this point we don't get that reveal. So what is that issue with him with
when we get there, I want to ask if you even believe what Livia was even saying about that. But we talked about it. Spike mentioned earlier about Junior just getting old. What's one thing, not even old people per se, but anybody that's been established at something for the most part, like, you don't want to really learn too many new things. Like Roberta, me and her had a play. We was going out to Boca for years, like
16,
over a decade. So like
she know me.
She know me. Right. I know her. Like, he said it. She was game for anything. You know exactly what to expect. This I ain't got no time to be trying to woo this woman and being the smooth, cool Uncle Junior or Corrado Soprano to Catherine and play that. Nah, man. I'm bored. I want to call this piece over. I want to do my thing with her. I want to lay up, be me, whatever the case is. So I think that's why he's trying to figure out. Pass the peppers. Yeah, I'm trying to find some familiarity. I can't do much. I'm stuck in this house. I'm bored. I need something going on. But you know how we are, man. Unless we have to, like if that first move don't answer, and it's the next move. There's the next move. You might end up like that. I had no intentions of even trying to hit you up, but everybody else is busy. I guess I'm stuck with it.
That's funny. That's perfectly on them.
And he old though. Like as men, we get old, like, or even as people, not even just men. Like there's certain stuff once you get comfortable with a person that you can just do. And this nigga having a pap mask and having to do all I can't leave out of the house. Like that's a lot going into a new relationship, expecting someone to respect. Expecting someone to be like, okay, cool, I understand like what you got going on with the house arrest or having to put the pap mask on to sleep. Like that's a lot. And Junior know that. Like he's smart enough to know, like, nah, bro, I got all this baggage and shit. Like I'm not even trying to go down that road because I don't want to expose myself like that.
Yeah, that's why he keeps shooing her away. Roberta, she don't give a fuck about none of that. You want house arrest? Cool. I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna do whatever.
I'm gonna bring lunch to you.
We get a scene. Carmela, she's with the housewives, Real Housewives of New Jersey, being shot. You know, that's what they do. You know what I mean? They mob guys go out there and they make rackets and bring the money in, and that's what they do. They gossip. They're talking about some Irish chick and them spending money on all alcohol. You know, which is funny. Alcohol is kind of a part of this episode as well, but Tony gets a call from Silvio about some guns, and he says that they got it, and he says that it's like some World War II History Channel stuff. I mean, you talk about, I want to ask y'all, but you talk about when your homeboys is on the other side of the phone, they're having a good time. Bruh, this resonated so, like, bro, they're like, dude, I thought you coming or what, bro? Like they literally like calling you, waiting on you, like you know you about to be the life when you get there. You know you about to be the life, and you like.
Meanwhile, your girl just hit play on the next Netflix
episode. Now you trying to set up a play like how I'm gonna get out of this early. Bro, this resonated so clear to me. Like he's like, nah, man. But now, what did y'all?
Tony bag too. Woo. That's what made this like this. This is his bag. The World War II General Pat. Like he loved this shit. So having to say no to that really registers as how house arrest, the name of the episode, really registers how it was affecting him. It took everything in his soul to be like, nah, I'm staying here and doing this. Me and too, like, bro, I wonder what time it is. This nigga coming downstairs in his robe and pajamas, like we having a full-on like book club meeting, bro. Like you can't put on no clothes, like you that. Like, I understand more and more Carmela's frustration. Like, bro, this nigga is in the house in his robe and pajamas. It's like the middle of the day, bro. What are you doing?
You know, Tony on some, man, this is my house, man. Take that shit over. Take that shit over to P house if it got a problem with me being in my robe. And he's already just in a bad, crappy mood, man. Like one of the funniest things in this whole episode to me is the way he takes that meat out that fridge and just trying to throwing it on. Yeah, and necessarily just launching it on the thing. And I think it's great symbolism that he looks over, he sees a room full of women. Like you said, Real Housewives of New Jersey, a room full of women. He get a call from a room full of his niggas.
Yeah,
I should be with them.
Get your shit out here, right?
My God,
I should be with them. I should be at the Bean.
Because what I want to do, I can't. This is literally epitome. Like, but yeah, go ahead.
No, that was pretty much it, man. What I want to do, I can't. I'm stuck in this crib. I'm listening to this bullshit. Tony would never be at home for this in a normal situation. He would never do it, you know. But the fact that he's on house arrest, he has no idea what to do with himself. And you said it perfect, Mo, man. You get your call from the fellas. We outside, yo. What's up? Where you at? Pull up.
Bro.
That chick you been asking about, she in here.
They're like, you know,
that's how it is.
Yeah, they asked about you. They asked. Oh man.
And and
you ain't been out in the grip.
The fact that they called, it wasn't just a regular call like, hey, we at the Bing and we doing this. Like, we got something that you would love. This is your shit.
Right.
Yeah.
World War II, real exotic. We got the truck that such and such drove in. We got the guns, we got the uniforms, bro. Yeah. So it's not like, it'd be different if it was just on some bullshit. Like, nah, y'all got the
hey
joints. Man, we just exactly, man. Oh, you should have came to the club last night, such and such pulled up. When you missed the whole event. Like,
missed the whole event. I mean, Big P pouring it on too. Like, he's like, hey, you know, you gotta get down here. He got the military hat on. He putting the whole when they all like
all the sauces on there, nigga.
This is in the running for favorite scene. It hands down. It's got to be because it's so like on the money. The translation to, I think men in general, we've all been there. All been there as men. You know what I mean? No matter the color, but it definitely resonates for us. Like how we
try to hang up the phone and act like it didn't even. I like it good. Like, all right, baby, hit play.
Yeah, right. So you see, Tony's whole gripe is and bro, I'm telling you, this is like a real thing. I know it is, but it's like this whole thing of trying to be clean across the board, right? And it's like, it's just our natural, we talk about nature. Our human nature is to want to do something that's just not in the rule book. It's like, so him trying to be clean. I'm going to Barone Sanitation. I'm going to these little parties. I'm trying to be committed to my wife. Like I told her, I'm trying to do this. So it's like, we'll see later. It's like, he needed the outlet to do something dirt. Cause that's where his thrill is. You know what I'm saying? Which is in this mundane life. And like most of us all, we try to find a thrill and stuff. Cause that's our nature. You know, it keeps us feeling alive. It keeps the people going.
But when you just said that, it just dawned on me, man. My man's trying to get clean at the sanitation spot.
Man,
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't either. See the greatness of this show. Melfi and her son, they go out to dinner. They're just having a conversation. We kind of see they're talking about stuff, but we see kind of how plain and regular this is for her and her son. They got their own relationship, their own kind of nerdy thing. I think they casted a great son. We've seen him before in the I believe the first season when he was doing with the family doctor, you know, the mafia depression joke. But I'm gonna throw the ball in Spike Lee's court first. Who's right here? The lady smoking a cigarette or Melfi? Because I think I might know, but I want to see what you react. Because that's really all I took from this scene. It's like,
you know how I am about authority. Like, bitch, if we can smoke cigarettes in here, why are you coming to me about smoking my cigarette? You should go to another restaurant. I agree with the woman. Like, I think Melfi was doing too much. Like, yeah, I get that your son lungs may be delicate. I don't give a fuck about none of that. When I sit down, I sit in the smoking section. They told me I could smoke, and I'm smoking my cigarette. So I do think that she was doing too much, and it goes to the later scene with Elliot and the OCD and him prescribing her medicine to calm down and not be as overly compulsive. Like, she was doing too much right there. Like, if at anything you ask the waiter and see if they can do anything, but I don't need you directing with me in that. I don't need you directly interacting with me being like, oh, can you put your cigarette out? No, bitch. Mm-hmm. It's a smoking restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed, man. It was Melfi.
Is that what you thought you was going to get, Mo?
That's definitely what I thought I was getting. And I'm on the same page with you. I was right there with you, dude. I was like, absolute. Like, she was like, it's a shame because you're trying to, but look, this is the funny thing because it ties into like those Tony-isms that play a part on her where it's like, you, Tony Soprano, why do you feel that you have to set things right?
You got to be the person to do
So this is kind of Melfi. It's like the restaurant already has rules. You know they got these rules. You know the order, but because you're saying you came in here and you wanting something else, but this is how it goes. So it's a very funny thing, and it's good to see. I like to see Melfi not all the way put together. It's good to see.
You like unhinged Dr. Melfi?
I do like unhinged Dr. Melfi because it's just very human. I mean, she talks about being a generic broad. in those sessions. So this is her not being. This is authentic broad. So I like I like seeing her this way. So it's funny, you know. We all are flawed.
The
it's good
towel
to
in her face was nuts.
That was
Yeah,
her aim was
nuts.
the aim was on point. Right to the
Dr. Melfi was
nailed her too. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
She was definitely in out of pocket for this. And if I'm old girl, I'm not doing that shit either. Especially the way you asking me and the way you presenting it. Like nothing's gonna get done with me that way. You know, I will have respect if you come at it on some real shit and just tell me what's going on. And that's the thing. Melfi didn't even leave with any kind of authenticity or truth. She got the issue. She's the one coughing, but she's saying, "Oh, it's my son. My son got
like,
keep it a buck. You don't like this. You know what I mean? So you trying to use the sympathy. You trying to use her son as sympathy, and she gonna look at it and well, all right, well, since you said that and your son got a condition, I'm gonna put it out. Like, I don't give a fuck about you or your son. Take that shit on somewhere. Yeah, go to a different restaurant.
Go to another restaurant. Yeah.
Be mad at them for having these rules in place so that I can smoke my cigarette. I'm not about to inconvenience myself for you. I love the throwback also, just going into a restaurant back in the day, smoking or not.
Yeah,
like, that is so far removed.
Smoking, bro, that's crazy. We remember that because we old enough, but like it's people that don't have no association with what they're talking about. Like
none whatsoever.
Asked when you went and got sit down, you want smoking or non-smoking section. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
bro.
that's crazy, man. That's insane.
Yeah.
Who y'all think would have won the fight?
That lady would have kicked Dr. Mel. Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Melfi looked like she was ready though.
I think Melfi would.
That woman looked like she was about it.
She looked like it, but
like
she was. But she was like called the police, which is funny because that's how they're in civilian world. This is what we're doing. But now I think the way Melfi threw that towel was like, nah. Even if the lady Mayo could have got her,
had some frustration.
Not today. Not today. Like this would have been like not today. Jennifer looking like she can throw today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but maybe
she been holding a lot of shit in. She wanted to get all that.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm in front of my son too. You know the stakes is high when you got a loved one next to you. Mom.
Yeah, you can't get dropped in front of your son.
Nah, you can't get dropped in front of your son, your girl. Like, come on, like she would have got crazy. Junior is stuck. His hand is stuck. Oh man.
You see this scene and ask us how could we not like Junior?
I guess I probably need to be more specific in it, but I guess like as a character, yeah, I guess that's probably the better way. Like, I don't know how many characters I like as a man or as a woman. I guess we should probably have more specifics when we talk about who do we like as a man or as a woman. Like, oh yeah, I identify with them, or I don't know, I rock with them, or so to speak, based on their code or of ethics. But it's hard on this show when the people lying 90% of the time. So, but yeah, that's funny. But yeah, we get him stuck, his hand stuck in the sink, and he can't get it out. He's been stuck there for 6 hours. I thought Janice, funny line, talking about, she's like, "You're lucky I don't tickle you." I was like, oh, that would have been cruel for anybody that's ticklish, bruh. Like, I would have, like, my wife, she tried to tickle me. I'm like, girl, you better stop. I'm gonna kick you across the whole room because you know how jumpy I am. Like, don't.
Wait, you ticklish?
Yeah, in certain spots. Yeah, still like certain, like you can still get it off. Like, yeah. Yeah, I try not to be, but it's still hilarious, bro.
Hey, Spot's stupid.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't the only adult out here still be like, you like, yo, chill. You know what I mean?
Bro, you is crazy, bro.
You think ticklish is wild, bro? Like, you think it's just, I outgrow being ticklish. That's crazy how because that is crazy. It's not like sucking your thumb or like, it's like, I can't control like what makes my body laugh, like, bro. I'm
gonna give you a pass. I'm gonna give you a pass, man. You can't control it. I'm sure if you had a choice to not be tickled,
absolutely, I would be there stone. I mean, sometimes I could control it for a second, but like after a while, I'm like, all right, bro, like.
But I ain't gonna hold you. The image of somebody running up on you, you just
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's like
that's it. That's the image of a nigga being like, man, I'm ticklish, bro. Like
crossing your body and shit, trying to twist away from him.
Bro, you cannot be tough and you get tickled. Like, come on,
shit, man, that's funny.
Oh shit, man,
that is funny. But yeah, she said she could have. We get Jackie Richie. Now, this is where we're gonna bring in some more interesting stuff. That so Richie, he helps Uncle Junior get his hand out of the garbage disposal, but he says, you know, you're flexing.
You're flexing.
Why I don't know why this scene is so funny with him because it's so weird. He's
because it's that jailhouse shit, man. Richie learned that
Right, it's
shit.
that gay
Man.
shit, man. That's
Bro,
that gay
okay.
shit. To Richie.
All right. So he tells him, limp,
Facts.
go limp.
Yeah.
That's
It's not even that. Like David
bro.
Proval, man. Shout out to him. We said it earlier, but it's just the way he's telling Junior that shit.
Yes.
Like limp.
Relax.
Relax.
Yeah, relax.
That's
the way
yeah.
you when you try to keep somebody quiet, you do a situation. Relax. Chill.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
simmer down.
okay. Thank
Simmer
you.
down. Like, come on, man. Don't tell me to simmer down, bro.
This is such a gay scene without being.
5'8". The lubrication,
definitely-
all of that, bro. They put
all of
that
that shit, man. They put that shit in there for real, like so you would understand what type of time the Richie was on, bro. It's
Wow.
and he was experienced with this shit.
Wow.
Like it didn't
225.
not for one moment
That's
was he
definitely
perplexed.
5'8".
He knew how to do all of this shit, nigga.
Oh,
That shit is
I
crazy.
never even picked up the lubricant.
Yeah, the whole scene with the whole purpose
Bro,
is
the
him
whole
lubricating
thing.
when he
You
get
know
out.
what?
Like, they
yo.
put all-
So
Yeah.
so let's stay there for a second. So here's the funny thing. You know, we see how like he had a scene at the Bing. You know, when he first got out, they said the big dog thing. He had him in there with the Bada Bing girls. He wasn't feeling it. He's really struggling, having a hard time. You know, even with Janice, got to be extreme. You know, they get into bring the gun out, trying to do all of the steps to try to like really get going. Here, he felt so comfortable, like, oh yeah, this is easy. Yeah, you're flexing. Like, chill, take it easy. Like that. That is funny. I just think about
simmer down.
simmer down, like
Simmer down, yeah. That shit.
bro.
Simmer down is wild.
Simmer.
Wild.
Wild.
Oh
Jesus.
my gosh,
Let it go limp. Let it go limp. That's it. You flex,
bro.
That second you flexing was the one. Like
That's
you
what I'm saying.
flex.
You're flexing.
Turn his head at him. Like, what the fuck?
That
you, all,
was the one.
you all talking
Jesus
close to my face,
Christ,
like,
man.
bro, back up.
Relax. First
Ah.
of all, relax, man.
I
Nigga, I'll
see
get somebody else to
Richie
get me
back
out.
somebody down in jail. Tell me you flex.
Oh yeah, he would have got him. He
Flexing
Richie
facts.
he go get somebody, bro. In jail,
That's
he
what
he
made
got
it so
somebody.
funny, bro.
I never
That's
picked
what
that
made
up.
it so fucking funny.
Simmer down.
God.
Simmer down.
Good pull. I did not catch that.
Flexing.
Oh man, and Tony then Junior walks away off like
I'm dying here.
Like he
Yeah,
been
right.
used. Junior walked
Like
away
he
like
been
he's been used and
Like he-
abused.
and then Janice John, I'm gonna make you some coffee, like just try to ease him, like you
I
okay?
don't want
You
no
know.
fucking coffee.
Yeah, man. He
Oh.
got violated, man. Wiping his hand off.
Yeah,
and shit.
well, that's
shit.
Junior had the nut rag. That's the nut
Oh, he-
rag. Junior.
Thanks. That's a wipe off rag. That was a wipe off
They
rag.
not
Oh,
supposed to know
man.
about that. They not supposed to know
Oh
that.
man, I'm sitting here crying, bro.
Oh man, I guess this is what we get
Jesus.
out of the episode. If we don't get the mob, so we gonna get some funny out of it. Oh man,
Right,
but
man.
but yeah, that was funny. Anything else y'all get from the scene? Other than I will say, I think this energy between Junior and Janice is always very interesting. I told y'all to
They
me,
don't fuck with Janice.
yeah, it's like I keep saying it's always that Seinfeld Newman thing. It's just every time they see each other, it's that same approach. Like I don't like you. I don't like you either.
I don't fuck with her. I
Yeah.
know what she about. I know
Uh-huh.
what she bring with her. I've been seeing this shit since she was a child. I do not fuck with her.
Yeah,
He trying to tell Richie that in however many words he can tell him that.
Yeah, Junior would have slapped her if she tried to tickle him. Like that's how much he don't like Janice.
yeah.
I think
He
Junior
He
would
don't
have tried
fuck
to
with
put
Janice
hands
at
on her.
all.
yeah. Now
Like,
he
I don't
let
fuck with you at all.
he let Roberta off the hook, but he wasn't gonna let Janice off the hook. That little niece of mine, he
No,
wasn't
sir.
gonna let her off the hook. What do y'all think about him giving the envelope and Richie kind of forcing the words back on Junior from the last episode, where it's like, well, it's a little short. He told us not to do the drug thing on the trash routes. But hey, I know you love him and all. He kind of try to use that like reverse psychology thing.
Yeah.
What y'all think about that play?
Yeah,
Is
That was good in the episode about nothing, to still being able to move the storyline along. We've talked about it here in addressing the previous episodes and how Richie is a good like proponent to Tony. Like we like seeing Richie in this position, like finally a good challenge for Tony that ain't his mom, that ain't his uncle Junior. This is Richie like really like, all right, man, I'm gonna go at him. Like if you ain't got no problem with it, I want to justify where your loyalty's staying with him because I'm gonna go at it. And
Mhm.
this, I feel like, with 3 episodes left in the season, gives us as fans, we looking at it like, okay, now this is finally a worthy opponent to Tony.
Yeah, yeah. And Richie's smart, man. He's been around the game long enough to know. All right, I go over your crib first. Junior pretty much shuns him out. You bring this shit to me in my crib, like I don't even want to hear what you got to say. Now it's affecting you, Junior. Now your pocket's light. Now let's see how you feel about it. Since
Yeah.
before it was just affecting me,
Yep.
and you ain't give a fuck. Now that you don't, he had a completely different reaction. Completely different reaction, man.
Yeah,
So-
and it's funny because it's like Richie's doing a twofold thing because he needs to really talk to him about this business play. But he also is doing it in front of Janice. I need Janice to just get off my back a little bit. I need her to know I'm actively
knowing that I'm trying to make.
Yeah,
moves.
so she's there in the kitchen making coffee. So she sees he's rubbing his head, folding the rag, just getting his mafioso boss thing off. Like, I'm talking business. I'm making a play. I need you to, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I can't believe how much I'm really liking Richie this season, watching it in this capacity. Like, I don't know. He still do stuff I don't agree with, but I really kind of, after we get past Beansy, I think I start to really subscribe to some of the moves he does. But yeah.
Nobody should eat with Tony.
Yeah, that's a great line.
Man, he's setting this up, man. He said, I know how much you love him. I ain't want to say nothing. Hey, Richie playing
yo,
this.
that's
man.
what I'm
Playing
saying,
this.
man.
G, man. Yeah,
Keeping
Richie
it
always
super
been
like,
gangster.
yo, man, that's your man's. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
I
Tony,
ain't gonna do nothing. But,
yeah,
you know,
but
shit.
you know, just blink.
That's how these envelopes about to look now. I just want to let you know.
Yeah, so just blink if otherwise. But Tony's at Barone Sanitation, and he's scratching his open wound, his rash on his arm, which is unsanitary. It's funny, unsanitary in the sanitation place. It's crazy because this is almost like, dude, I didn't sign up for this for real. Like, if I wanted to work a regular job for real, I would have never joined the mafia. It's just the funniest thing to me. But what do y'all get from this small little scene right here?
No, I think that's a good point. What you said. If I wanted to do this shit, I would have been in the mob, bro. Like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm making doodles on a fucking legal pad. Like, bro, get the fuck out of my office. Leave. Like, what am I doing? That could be frustrating in itself.
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to think about how do I want to word this because I don't want to give out a spoiler, but there's something very, very, very interesting in this scene that I picked up. Two things. Well, the first thing that doesn't have anything to do with the spoiler, but I love how the show transitions from Junior going through it with the garbage disposal, Tony going through it at the garbage disposal company. Just them back-to-back scenes like that, the way they set it up, I love that. I thought that was genius. We obviously see the thing that they throw in our face in this scene is the fishbowl. Tony drawing the fish, the idea of being trapped in the fishbowl, not doing what I want to do. You guys notice what he draws after that? I'm going to say spoiler alert. I'm not going to say anything like direct, but if you haven't seen the series, even though you should probably know what's about to happen, I'm not going to say it direct, but I will say that. So if you want to fast forward another 30 seconds to a minute to talk about something that's going to happen this season. But do y'all notice what he draws right after he finishes with the fishes?
What?
Start drawing a cat.
Oh, you talking about like a few seasons down?
No, in this scene, he's drawing the fishes. Then he goes to the side and he starts drawing cat ears and the cat head. He's drawing a cat on that paper. What character?
Pussycat.
Pussycat. Fishes. Sleeping with the fishes.
Oh, I thought we was talking.
A little bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah, I thought we
were
talking. A little bit of
foreshadowing of this character. Yeah, man. Like, just that idea, that little small thing. Like I said, I don't know if it was just.
The show is so great. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. That's like
not
that haunting. That's so haunting. Like, when they just throw you like that. Man, that's crazy.
If he never drew that cat, and that's the thing, you already have the purpose of that fishbowl drawing without the cat. We understand this episode, what it's about. You trapped in that fishbowl. The fact that you add that one little thing and you put it all together, like, hold on, cat, fishes, sleeping with the fishes. Who's a cat? Big pussy. Oh shit. So genius, man.
I do, and I think it can I still think it could work for the later down the road season of like that. Get that cat out of here. That cat keeps looking at that kid. I'm not gonna spoil who the person I'm talking about. Yeah, so that cat too, it could. I don't think they thought that far out on it like that, but I think it could. It works perfect. But I think yours is spot on. That's great pickup there.
I hate the way that Tony's picking at that thing, man. That shit pisses me off.
It
make my arm,
it make my flesh crawl, bro.
Yeah, I feel like my arm is bleeding every time I look
like
at
I had to look at my shit 3 or 4 times when I was watching this episode. Like, ugh.
That's funny. And it's even funny, but like
but it's crazy that is a reaction from stress though. Like you get rashes and shit like that. Like that shit happens when you're stressed out.
And I think also while Tony's doing that, that's the only way he could feel things though. I feel like it could represent that kind of too, where it's like he don't feel nothing living life this way. The only thing he could really feel is this blood, this rash, this pain on his arm. He don't feel nothing else right now.
Itching sensation.
Yeah. We get another Melfi session with Elliot. She talks about how she embarrassed her son, and he's still, leaning on like, "Are you sure you're not an alcoholic?" And then he basically says, "I think you're obsessed with him," and he prescribes her Luvox for the OCD and some of the other things that he's found to be beneficial. Anything else y'all get from this scene with Elliot and Melfi?
Just bargaining with herself. Like I said, she's not trying to convince herself she's not an alcoholic, placed on medication. She's just not herself.
Mm-hmm. It's like she's going against her.
This has her off her square, dealing with Tony, trying to figure this out and be the answer to whatever questions that he has is really knocking her off her square. She's having a drink. She's not really sure about herself. She's becoming overly compulsive about the things that she does. I think this is a great episode. It's to show the effect of I'm dealing with this sociopath motherfucker who I really can't help. And everybody's telling me I can't help, but I think that I'm good enough that I can help them. Mm-hmm. And these are the results of it.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. It's just that moral compass is like, it's wrong, but it feels right.
I'm trying to do the right thing.
I'm trying to do the right thing. How to do it.
Yeah.
So, Tony and Junior, they hash it out about this whole play.
They hash it out though.
Huh?
They ain't even hash it out though.
It ain't really a hash out because Tony's the boss, so it's like this is what's happening.
Yeah, he's just telling him like, bro, this y'all not gonna sell dope on the route, bro. Like it don't work. Like, nigga, this is a trash route.
Well, so
and Junior's just not being able to understand that.
And it's weird because I've sent y'all, but I've been listening to Our Thing from Sammy the Bull, and he kind of highlights certain things about when the mob like really started to like fall as far as their moral code, and when they started getting into drugs, because that was like not the thing we even see in the Godfather movie, like that's frowned upon. So this shows you, like Tony says, I'm in at the end, at the very first episode of the series. And this is weird because Tony Junior's from the old school. So he's kind of subscribing and getting with this selling drugs on the trash routes, which is really weird for me because Junior's from the old school and that ain't acceptable. But Junior tries to button it up in this old school mantra. Back in the day, we used to work together. And Tony quickly dispels that by who was the guy he was talking about? He says the guy that was lying in the barbershop. He said families.
I forget his name.
I'm gonna get it right here. Albert Anastasia. So yeah, so he's like, oh yeah, they used to work it out amicably. And he's like, okay, what about Albert Anastasia when he's laying there in the barbershop? And he was like, well, he was an exception. But what do you think about this? This is kind of a weird thing that Junior's pushing. I mean, he's trying to make his racket, which really, Tony, if he wanted, he could just open up a little bit more cash flow for Junior, and this wouldn't even be a thing, but Junior feels the need to do it. What do you think about this, bro?
I like how you mentioned just, the fall of where their moral codes and ethics went. And just how not only Italians, mobs, whatever, I think everybody can relate to a time when their community just looked out more. You know what I mean? Just looked out for each other more. There's more sense of community. Neighbors could come over and make sure their kids were cool. Everybody kind of policed their own. And now it's a whole different world. And it ties into Junior being old. Like he has enough memory of those times and also is outgrowing what the new generation is like. So that was pretty much it. And Tony's just laying down the law. Like, I run things now. This is how it's going to go. And that's just kind of what it is. And Tony getting his jokes off too. How many MiGs you shoot down today? Jet fighters, just because he got that mask on and shit like that.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, a MiG is a jet fighter, so he got that mask. He get that little glance. Anytime Tony gives a shot, he can. And Tony subtly, man, he at the back of the head, it's not too long. We're not too far removed from you really trying to have me laid out. Even if I did have any incentive to do it, man, fuck you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's still that too.
You lucky you even earn it.
Yeah. When are you gonna get it through your bald head? Like, I thought that was so funny, bro. When he said that too, because it felt like off kilter. I guess I don't know, but it didn't. But it just felt off kilter. I don't know. I just thought about like Martin with Tommy or something. Like it just felt like something like that. But it's just a funny line.
It felt like that. And the subtle jab was, I'm not going to let you and that other shitbird. He didn't call Richie a shitbird. He said the other shitbirds would mean you a shitbird too.
Both of y'all shitbirds.
Yeah, both of y'all are shitbirds. I just peeped that like one of the first times when I was rewatching it. I was like, oh, he said that other shitbird.
Yeah, you want to
both in the same class and category.
Thanks.
Do you want to add anything more to this scene, Spike? This hospital scene?
No, that was perfect. I think Rich nailed it as far as everything that Junior was trying to get off, and Tony was like, "Nah, bro, it ain't that type of party no more.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't that type of party where you and Rich are doing whatever the fuck y'all want, nigga. Mm-hmm. I'm the boss.
Yeah,
like, and y'all gonna respect this, or y'all gonna have to deal with the consequences. I'm not your nephew. I'm not the little Tony Soprano that Richie dealt with it in the past. Like, this is my word, and this is what I'm saying." Mm-hmm. So I think he did a good job of establishing himself as the boss there.
Yeah, and I forgot Richie used to move drugs through Beansy back in the day too. So it's probably more of a Richie play than Junior. I didn't think about that, but yeah, it's probably more of a Richie play.
Yeah, Richie probably was thinking like, look, the envelopes are gonna be fat because I know I can do this here. And Junior not looking at it like, oh, well, shit, if something happened, then it's going to come back on me. It's going to come back on Tony. Like, Tony the one that is over all of this, and that's why Tony is approaching it the way that he does.
Yeah, and it makes sense because Richie's like, bro, my trash routes are already short, so I got to make a play. So he, which is really creative on Richie's part. But yeah, I'm glad you gave me the reference for the MiGs. I thought he was talking about. Yeah, that's funny. So yeah, we get a couple of few short scenes. Bobby walks in. Junior asks, "Yo, where's the money cut? It's gone." Hey,
I ate it, motherfucker.
And I was just like, Bobby, bro, like, we find out he has to go pick up his son, and it's like, bro, you have a whole wife and family at home. Why are you eating my food? Fat boy.
Thing,
like, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, he's like, man, you
didn't even save him, though.
Bro,
half a tray.
Bro,
that nigga didn't even save him a helping of it, bro.
Bro, when we were kids, me and my siblings, we ate like the whole, like, we just went shopping. We ate the whole bag of like 3D Doritos just because we was like, let's see if we can eat them all. And we just ate them all, and we struggled because we were little. Man, my mama was so mad, bruh. Like, so what I seen is I immediately just went back to that memory. It's like, what are you doing? You're eating it all just for the
disrespectful,
sport.
Bro. Yeah, you gonna run the whole thing. You gonna run the whole thing.
Like, at no point when you keep chopping squares out of it. Like, this is my boss said. You're chopping squares out of this pasta. At no point, man, maybe I should save one of these squares. You get close to the end, you got about 3 squares. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this. Hey. And then you just say, you know what, I'm gonna clean it up.
Junior was so disgusted when he saw the tray sitting in the dishwasher.
That was the brilliance of this scene. Them flashing over to that dish is clean, super clean. And that nigga Junior, like, that was that moment where Junior was like, this motherfucker really ate
Bobby
that shit.
punish that shit, nigga. Nigga, no, you ain't get none of this.
Hold on, I'm talking about that. Because I'm sure Julia's really sitting here thinking, everybody out there for the most part knows what it's like. Everybody knows what it's like to have a leftover or something and know, like, when I get home, I'm about to fuck this up. And you get there, it ain't there.
And that shit
like,
gone,
Junior couldn't
bro.
believe he couldn't believe, like, is it in the freezer or not? He looked over, saw that, like, your fat ass really ate this whole tray,
bro,
with no consideration.
Like,
he was so mad,
man. That's
half a fucking tray in there.
Funny. That's funny little motherfucker. And Big Bobby wasn't apologetic at all about it. Like, yeah, nigga, I rushed that shit. Like, what you talking about?
He said, what happened? He said, it's gone. What you mean it's gone?
Nigga, what the fuck you talking about?
I know all that food ain't gone. There was too much food. There's no way you ate all this shit by yourself.
It's just
blitz that shit.
Man, it's crazy. The process of just making up in your mind you're not getting any of your own mini cut is crazy. But so he ends up, what does he do? He ends up calling Catherine. It looks like he's trying to get a remake on that joint. Because that's what we do.
Yeah. Right, some more money got over here.
Yeah. So we get Tony and he's at the doctor's office and he's asking about the rash. Anything I get from this scene, I mean, he just asked about medication. I don't know. It was just really a short scene, mundaneness. I didn't really care nothing for it, but
yeah, I just love how they talked about stress management and it leads right into a stress reliever.
Stress reliever.
Yeah.
So we okay, so we go over and Tony is
hey, Bobby really ate all that shit, man.
No.
Come on.
We ain't let him off to it. Like, oh my god, I've made
and they were extra petty in the scene though. He had a shirt on with his stomach stuck out extra. Like he looked fatter in that scene than he's ever looked before.
Bro.
Like that's the craziest thing about it. Like the nigga shirt was like hanging on by a thread. Like he was fatter in that scene than he's ever been.
Definitely was. They put an extra on the suit right there. They put an extra layer on the fat suit. I swear they did.
Like, Bobby was like, "What are you talking about?"
Like, bro, he was man from the fifth floor, bro. Just straight up, like going through your sandwiches and bread.
Y'all rush that shit, nigga. Yeah, come on with that. Your old ass ain't eating this.
That's crazy, dog. You don't even like Catherine. Like, you know what I mean? You start rationalizing why you about to eat all of his tray.
God damn.
Yeah, he probably
that's probably what he was thinking. Like, you don't even fuck her like that.
Like, he's like, you know what? I see how he was acting. Yeah, he probably forget.
I'm gonna rush all this, nigga. You don't even fuck with her, and this shit good too.
You know how
she
looked
like she can cook too.
She did
like she gotta be sick. Like, you gotta be sick to talk yourself into eating somebody else's shit. Like you made a whole story in your head.
Not just a piece.
Why this is okay?
You gotta be a sick motherfucker. Not just a piece though. Like your nigga didn't get a piece of it and take it home to the squad and nothing like that. He's like, that nigga rushed the whole thing. I mean, and convinced himself like, nah, this is the best thing for me to do.
Yeah, this makes sense right now. This makes the most sense right now. Like,
I wish there was a scene where we could see Bobby eating it because I want to see it.
I would have loved that, bro.
After he eats half of the half, I want to see his face. Like, damn, maybe I should stop.
Look,
that's what I'm saying, bro. Because that's why, bro. It's like when people record like Instagram videos. It's hilarious to me because of the steps that it take to get to that point. That's why it'd be funny. So it's like the steps it takes to say, because at any point when you ate half of it, it's probably a good amount. This is a reasonable portion. I ate enough. I'm gonna leave this for him. Then you get to like a quarter left. You're like, okay, I probably ate too much, but at least I left him something. Then you say, you know what, I ain't gonna even leave him. He ain't gonna want it anyway. Like going through that.
Rush this whole thing.
He was low key shocked that. Yeah, he was low key shocked that Junior even asked about it. Like, oh, it's gone.
Like he ain't gonna notice. Like,
what you mean? Where is it? It's gone. What you thought it was?
He ain't gonna notice.
I didn't even know you just.
Like he ain't gonna notice. It's crazy. Maybe he won't see it.
That's like Debo telling Red, like, I ain't know you wanted it back. Like we asked him for his bike. Hey, that's one of the craziest lines ever. When a nigga said, I ain't know
bad, homie.
Nigga, I gave you my bike. What you mean you ain't think I wanted it back?
My bad, homie. It's over here.
Walk with me.
Yeah, man, bro. That's funny you brought it back like that.
Damn, that's good, bro.
Because I was sitting here watching it again. Just that glance, Junior had looking over at the dish.
cleaned it up.
Junior was disgusted too. Junior was
disgusted.
fucking disgusted. Like I can't believe this the nigga that's in here taking care of me, making sure I die. This nigga hate the whole thing. Bro, he was so fucking disgusted by that.
Oh, y'all, man, I'm fucking weak.
Oh shit,
So-
that's good, Rich. That's good shit right there.
And it is. So, I mean, I keep saying that Tony. So we pan over to Tony, and they start from the floor up, and you see the boxers hanging down at the ankles, and you hear dog barking.
I knew he was going.
You hear dog barking.
How long was it? How long was it figured out for y'all thought he was gonna fuck her?
Well, that last scene when he was drawing, and she kind of like, you need anything, kind of like.
Yeah, the extra look. Yeah.
But that's
I
funny
knew that
because
from the,
oh yeah.
I knew it from the Born Again Christian comment.
Yeah,
Like,
because
look,
they
oh,
were setting it
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, the stakes
Yeah,
all
that's
that
what I
was
knew.
built
When
up.
when I heard him say that.
But it's funny
He's
that
gonna
you hear the
fuck.
dog barking. You referenced earlier, Spike, about the dog thing, and obviously he's dogging her crazy right here. Like even like almost like how dogs actually do have sex in a way. Like it's
Doggy
like,
style.
yeah. So it's like he's going
And that's
crazy.
another reason why. Yeah, I mentioned that.
We're back on
Like
Cinemax
they
again.
brought purposely that doggy, like you hear the dog barking in the background. That's Tony.
Mhm.
I mean, but what? I mean, y'all. Let me ask though. Like, what was it? What was she trying to grab a hold of, bro? Like
life. nigga.
She was like
She
trying to like play
You
invisible
gotta think.
piano keys, dude. Like it's like you are getting
yeah,
like
man.
get a grip. You are getting. Oh man, I'm sorry.
Bitch,
y'all.
relax.
Please, she was like just
Bitch,
grabbing
relax.
for life, like he said. Like it was nothing on there, not a pen, not a. This is
whatever she can get a hold of.
yeah. I think this was probably like one of the most. I think it's probably most explicit scene from Tony in that space. I believe in the series.
Yeah, we seen that coming.
Yeah, you seen that coming. We get a few more scenes here. We got Junior meets with Catherine, and this guy she asked about, is this her ex-husband that she was asking him about?
Yeah,
Like,
nah,
Yeah, she asked what's he gonna take.
her widowed husband, not ex-husband, her widowed husband.
well, Whittle, yeah.
Yeah.
So she was asking like was he a part of the mob or what was she getting at here?
No, was he on
Was
the
he
tape?
crooked?
Were they? Yeah,
Yeah,
was he crooked? Was he accepting bread to turn the other way from the mob?
You think Junior telling the truth?
He's definitely lying.
The point. I think the whole point of it is it don't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
good point with that, Rich. Yeah. It doesn't matter, and he didn't want to ruin her thought process about her husband. Like it don't
mhm.
matter. Now he dead. It don't matter if he was on the take or not. He's like, yeah, we paid him. Like, but what me telling you that, what is that gonna do? Other than you think differently of him. You already got this high expectation that you have, and we know you talked about it earlier, Mo, how obsessed Junior is with his perception, how people
Mhm.
perceive him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm gonna give her this gift, and I think this speaks to Junior's character and why we like him so much, as far as just being a character in The
Yeah.
Sopranos, but not necessarily being able to root for him.
Mm-hmm.
This is him lying to be like, yeah, I'm gonna add to what you already thought. I ain't gonna take anything away from that. I'm old, you old. I know what it's like for people to be robbed of their perception of people. So I'm gonna give you this. Yeah, like nah, he ain't take no money. He was a good guy.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So
I'll
this
leave you
is
with that. Yep.
this is a respectable moment. So this is respectable from Junior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
You
respectable from
respectable
Junior.
scenes.
Respectable. Okay. We're gonna
All
start trying
paths,
to call
all
out.
paths leading to the cemetery. You know what I'm
Some,
saying? So that was the whole theme of that, or not theme, but that's what they discussed right prior to that. So if we know that's where we headed anyway, why should I add any extra? Especially when you're older like that,
yeah.
and it's closer for you. Obviously none of us know when the time is. Young, old, it don't matter. But
Mm-hmm.
traditionally, we getting older. Just natural causes can take us out now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna leave you with some kind of good memory of your husband and things like that. But yeah, somebody's got to win. He probably won it at the track. He made up some bullshit, and shit. Her, she's so gullible and so out of the life. You think,
Yeah.
really?
Right.
Hey man, anybody else know, man? Shut up.
Right.
Man, shut up.
You know what it is.
Tell somebody shut up. Tell somebody shut up as an adult is hilarious. Anyway, he's like that you don't know. Like it's like, man, shut up. Like that is by far so disrespectful. Richie and Janice, they're house searching, it looks like. And bruh, this house is elite. Let me now
is this Johnny Sack house?
Yeah.
This is
this is Johnny Sack house,
right? Yeah, remember there's a thing that happens and why,
a couple, I was trying to remember that when I was watching this and didn't want to skip forward, but yeah, this is the same house Johnny Sack had.
We are definitely gonna see this house again.
Why? What a tie back, boy! I did not pick that up because I was like, yo, this house is ridiculous. Even now, so
definitely worth more than 850,000.
But that's for sure. Now, were they trying to buy the house, or were they trying to have the event here, or what?
I'm not trying to buy this. Is Richie and Janice trying to buy the crib.
Richie and Janice,
but Richie don't have this type of bag though.
Do we?
And that's why Tony makes the comment, like, that seemed like a pretty large bill. You're gonna be able to afford it with your, parole job. Like Tony and Richie's pretty much telling him, like, nah, I'm good, I'm all right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We can make it work.
Like, and then, worry about me, my
yeah, now Richie's
your line old. My shit fresh.
Yeah, Richie's clapbacks here was really good. He was talking about the walls, like he was getting in that braggadocio. He's like, man, what kind of walls yours got?
Richie was in his bag. This
whole episode, this spot right here was a great.
Got the look. What is it? The maroon like jumpsuit on, like he in his bag.
But man, he needs to stop. But he do need to stop wearing this dang on jacket, bro. If he wore this jacket one more time, like
the jacket is crazy.
I'm tired of him wearing. He wore a jacket the whole the whole series. Everything he's wearing a jacket. Like take the freaking jacket off, bro. It's not
the
that
members only jacket on top of the tracksuit.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Take that freaking jacket off, bro.
Crazy.
But it's funny because the tracksuit is like maroon, but it's kind of pinkish a little bit.
I like the tracksuit though.
It was nice though, no doubt though.
I fuck with it. Yeah.
I rocks with the tracksuit, and I his style is very custom to his personality. But yeah, like just getting his big dog brags off on Tony, like earlier, like man, yeah, we getting engaged, like yeah, I got your sister, right? Like it's just that type of thing. And he's talking about these walls, they skim coat. Like it's like
not that cheap sheetrock shit you got over your crib.
Yeah, nah. It's like talking about the lawn and the grass. It's like, man, nah, this is new out here, man. Like, what he's like, what?
And almost like that. I was gonna say, almost like that passing of the guard. Like my crib better, my shit bigger. You the boss, but I'm really looking like the boss now. I'm coming up. Yeah, watch yourself.
It, nigga.
But this is kind of a thing that it speaks to. They talk about men. Richie has to overcompensate because of who he's with and because of the 5'8". So
5'8", 225.
5'8", 225. So because of those things, I think he has to overcompensate here.
I think Richie's smaller than 5'8", by the way.
Yeah, oh, he's definitely not 5'8". Like that's he's just
like 5'5", 5'6", right?
Yeah, he a little dude, but boy, he's a tough little dude, man, for real. Yeah, this crib, man, great. Yeah, he definitely do. Anything else I get from this? I mean, Tony's he was about to pass out, but he manages to pull it together. And I don't know if I.
What do you think triggered him? What do y'all think triggered him?
That's what I was just about to say. What triggered him? Richie's triggered him. So he triggered him.
Like I just told you. Yeah, absolutely. Like he's just pissing him. He's a thorn in his side. You got to think. I've told you numerous times in this episode alone about cutting your pay, and you are buying some big boy shit. What the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? You like stunting in my face. Like, Richie's starting to have no regard.
This is Richie blatantly saying, "I'm not listening."
Exactly.
I'm gonna sell coke on the route because like this is how I get money. This is him blatantly saying, like, yeah, I'm buying the big boy house. I'm gonna do all the shit that is making you mad as boss. I'm still gonna do that shit.
And you got to question. You can't question where I'm getting my bread from.
Facts.
I can lie about whatever, but you know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a great point. I think Richie is the thorn that's triggering him. So it's just very interesting. But that house, oh my gosh. Are y'all sure this is Johnny Sack? I don't remember his house being brown on the outside.
I don't think I've ever seen that view from the front, but I think that's the sentiment that's the same house that Johnny Sack bought over there.
Could be wrong. I'm about 90% sure it is. If there's not the same house, then they're very, very similar.
I think
we see that house a lot.
Yeah, you're I think you're on it. It may be a staging thing that kind of changed because I remember the guy that was cutting the grass. That's why I'm thinking like the little clips we got. I don't think the house was brown, but I can't quite remember. I could be wrong. Soprano fans step up. But yeah, but I think you're right. I might think you might be right. That would be a great
similar to that house that Paulie did the shit, did the donuts in the drive too. When Paulie pulled up in the yard and did the donuts.
Yeah.
It looked like that house too.
See, that's what
I just looked it up. It's a different house.
Oh, it is a different house. Okay.
It is a different house, but it definitely looks similar.
It's probably in the neighborhood though. it's definitely it could be in that same but that's Big Dog right there. I don't know if y'all noticed, but Tony, I didn't never notice this. This is a really small detail, y'all. Tony's outside of the house and he's looking around. And this you have to stop, just like the details y'all been catching. Richie is looking through the window, bro. It's staring. That is creepy than a mug, bro. And they put it at such an angle where you can see it, which probably speaks to the costume design team that chose that color, because that color comes through that window very clear. So I never noticed that to this moment. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. We get Tony at Barone's, and he's building a bracket for the, so it seemed like he kind of subtly is trying to embrace this life, so to speak. But the guy comes in with more information, more news. Tony's basically not here for it. He don't really care about it. What did y'all get from this scene?
I didn't take that he didn't care. I respect the discipline of Tony of not talking business in front of somebody who ain't a friend of theirs or a part of their life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like Tony's hot. He's pissed off. Like that's straight disrespect from Richie. But he kept it calm enough to know, like, all right, man. And even told dude, like, get out of here. I'm trying to work on this. He doesn't want to incriminate himself. Think about the position he just came out of. I'll take care of this on my own time with our own people.
Okay. Anything else you add to that, Spike?
Same thing. Like I don't know you per se. Like the type of business that me and Richie have, you and I don't have that type of business. So yeah, I appreciate the information. Thank you. You still sitting here is offending me. Get the fuck up. Get the fuck out of my office. I'll deal with this the way that I'm supposed to deal with it. You sitting here waiting on an answer or want some back and forth about, what are you gonna do about it? Like, nah, get lost. This is what I do. Rich brought up a good point. Like Tony showed great discipline in the fact that, all right, I'm pissed off. I've told this nigga about it. I'm going to relay the information to you so you'll have enough information to run your business. But other than that, get the fuck out of my face because now let me process this.
Makes sense.
Spot on.
Livia calls Junior. And so we found out that, based on her information, Catherine was some old work to Johnny.
I don't believe that, man.
Why don't you believe it?
Because it's Livia the one that's saying it.
Yeah, like she full of
everything
shit.
she says is not a lie though. There's that 10%
How did
like
she
all
even
characters.
know about this?
There's nothing about Catherine that strikes me as
let's
the type.
think. How did she know?
On that.
Hold on, let's think. How did she know? How did Livia get the info? Let's try to figure this out.
She did it. She making that shit up.
But even knowing that you are working with Catherine.
That they was kicking it?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I've always wanted that too.
So
you always in the nursing home, bitch. Like you ain't got nothing. Why are you worried about what I got going on? And how did you find out?
I mean, are they in the same hospital maybe, or?
She in the nursing home. She ain't been in no hospital, bro.
Oh, she at home.
Like this is just information. I guess it's just showing how information travels amongst older people in those circles. Like they ain't got too much to talk about. So somebody being like, oh, well, I Junior Soprano and just such and such. I feel like that may have happened, but still for her to call on, like it's crazy that she even found this out.
So y'all both think she's lying.
Yeah, she
absolutely. I don't believe her at all.
That's why Junior hung up on her.
Y'all don't think she's ever telling the truth?
No, I think she tells the truth about some things, but I don't think about this.
Yeah, not this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea that this was the truth.
And you got all right. So look at what she said. I remember Johnny telling me that she let him fill her up behind the Sons of Italy Hall. Why would
When
Johnny
does that
tell
come up
Olivia that?
to your wife? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when do you tell your wife about that? I'm
I'm
feeling this
passing by
chick
the
up.
house like, yeah, her,
Like, what?
yeah.
But
That
think
just
about it,
doesn't
but-
make sense for him to tell Olivia.
But think about it. Tony told Carmella, I made this girl get an AIDS test. So it's like not too far out of that. I told my wife, but I didn't tell her. Like,
no, that's
who
I
knows
think
if they
that's
had because
completely
they could have had a
different.
bad argument. Think about when Carmella came out and said, I thought, well, I ain't going to reveal the character that she said she was thinking about and having dreams of and love when he pulled up. But like, how open it was with that, or like, you know what I'm saying, or maybe he was caught up in something.
That's all out of anger.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But who knows how she could have got it? Like, he ain't probably openly, but they could have argued. They could have fussed. He could have said it out of spite. She could have been nosy and figured out the info. Like, I don't think it's that far-fetched. I really don't. That type of detail is a weird thing to me. Yeah.
Mo, we can fill a book with the shit that Olivia don't know.
Hang up the phone.
Click.
Hang up the phone, man. She don't know what she's talking.
That's funny.
And going to the whole theme of this episode, whether it's true or not, it don't fucking matter.
It leads to the same thing. Johnny's dead. Her husband's dead. Right.
Facts.
Well, then in that note, so then we get a scene. Catherine comes and pulls up, and they're down in his basement, I guess.
They got some nice basements in Jersey, huh?
Yeah, they basement is all right.
Nice. This nigga basement, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty old towny. But yeah, he's just having a conversation with her. She seems to really be here for it. Is Junior the one that got away for her? Because this is how it's coming off.
Nah, I still think it's just like old people relate. Lonely old people. Her husband is dead. Like, she's just looking for somebody to talk to, someone she can relate to. Remember how the old times was. Remember this. Remember that. That's the thing I feel like that she's getting off from Junior with this. Someone who relates to things that she can remember.
Is he trying to get rid of her?
He ain't too sure on how to handle her. Because again, he's a gangster. Like, I'm still, even though I'm old and that's what we're relating to, I'm still on house arrest. I still got all this other shit going on. I don't think that he's not receptive of how she would appreciate that lifestyle at that age.
Former cop's wife, all that stuff. And, nobody wants to
Sons
sit around.
Yeah.
All she has to do right now is, if she didn't do this, she would technically be sitting around waiting to die. Just kind of passing the clock for that. So she's going to be out here, have some excitement, have these flashback memories. Like Spike said, it's relatability. You remember a world that I lived in. We talked about the smoking and non-smoking. That's something that we always going to have, a connection of and remembering. There's a whole generation that doesn't know that. So, it makes me feel better.
Fair enough.
He finally kept it real. I think that's why he finally told her, I'm under house arrest.
Yeah.
Just to see how you're gonna play it. We're gonna make a decision right now. He said, I can understand if you want to leave. He expected the worst. But you gotta give people a chance. She don't care about none of that shit. You stay. I'll bring in food. I ain't going nowhere.
I got nothing else to do. Melfi and Tony. Tony is on his soapbox. Like, he just complaining about everything. And she has these moments of like, like she just like not here for it, but she's clearly sober here. That definitely was a clear indication, because her approach, her professionalism, everything, her demeanor was there. Legs 2.0. This was even better than the first one from Mel.
Facts.
But there's this interesting comparison he makes to Richie. He doesn't outwardly say his name, but he talks about this anti-personality disorder situation, and he's like undealt with, or like recognized or unrecognized. How does it come out? And so he's looking at, like, we're almost like of the same token, or on a different side of the coin, so to speak. And so he's looking, I feel like he's looking at Richie is just like me, but he's on the other side of that coin. This is what it looks like when you come out of prison, and how he deals with it versus me actually having therapy, never being in the can. But what did y'all get from this Melfi Tony scene here?
I like the George Sanders reference. He mentioned that, I'm going to take that George Sanders long walk. For those that don't know, he was an actor, ended up killing himself, committed suicide. And he left a suicide note, just pretty much saying like, "Hey, I think I lived long enough. I'm doing this because I'm bored. Good luck with this cesspool of a world." And that was it. That was his message. I'm ending my life because I'm bored and I've done enough of this. So I just with the relation of what this whole episode is about, him saying I'm ready to take that George Sanders walk, like just because I'm bored, I'm ready to just end it. Like he's out of his mind right now. Yeah.
Wow. Anything else you want to add to this scene?
No, that was good.
Okay. Yeah, that was a great pull. I didn't know about the George Sanders. I was gonna look it up, but I'm glad you pulled that up. But yeah, so then we get Junior and Catherine, and they're watching a TV show, and Junior is falling asleep over there. It looks like they're watching like General Hospital or some kind of hospital show or something like that, and which is funny because they're out of the hospital, and she's like kind of rubbing his feet. He's snoring. She puts the mask on his face, kind of looks out for him and everything. It's funny she's rubbing his feet. So again, we got this feet thing. I don't know what this means, but somebody DM us about it. It must be, it has some kind of meaning. I don't know. Stand up, sit down, walk. I don't know, something. But did y'all gather anything from the scene of just like Catherine kind of taking care of Junior here? Or?
That was pretty much it, man. Just looking out. Catherine don't care about none of that. She just wants some camaraderie, man. She just wants somebody to sit down and chill with. I don't even think that there was anything sexual about it. She just wants the company.
Right. We old, we both about to die, and who knows when. Like having some companionship in the last stages of our life. Like I feel like that's what she was pushing towards. And like,
it might keep it.
Even all the insecurities that Junior had with wearing the mask and having the damn ankle bracelet on, like she's massaging the feet, so she sees the bracelet, she puts the mask on him. Like she's just not concerned with that. This is literally what Junior needs. Not Bobby, not Richie coming to save him out of the garbage disposal. This is what he needs: true companionship from someone his age in a real old people world, not the mafia world.
Great pull. I really thought this thing was going to last between them two. In the very first.
Did they ever say what happened to her? Like she just faded out, right? Like this was the only episode.
I think it is. Maybe she popped up once and it was over or something, but I can't remember just yet. But she definitely wasn't a long term, like, you know.
This is what Junior needed.
He definitely needed this. And we get to our last scene of the episode. Tony shows up to the Bada Bing. Boy, I don't know how excited y'all were. Boy, I was excited. This was like a intermission episode. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Satriale's.
Yeah. Oh, they're Satriale's.
Oh,
yeah, you're right. You're right. I thought they was in the back of the Bing. My bad. Got it. Yeah. So there's Satriale's. Tony shows up. We guess who we see? Christopher. He's on his feet, but he's still kind of recovering, but he's doing well now. Hesh is there. Y'all favorite character. And Tony's happy to see the boys, and things are going pretty well. He's smiling. He just listen to what's going on. People updating. You just be just like when you ain't been with your boys in a while. Like you just happy to see everybody. Like everything they're saying seems so exciting when you haven't been around them.
But it's the same shit though. It's the same boring shit. It's just I'm with my homeboys, and it seems more palatable than me staring out the window and Carmela asking me what's going on.
Yep, yeah. This is the most boring we've ever seen the back of Satriale's. It's never been this boring. You know, even from what everybody's doing, there's no conversation. Like, they looking at porno magazines and cereal, drinking espresso. Like nobody's doing nothing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Crazy thing was him taking that shoe polisher, taking it fresh off the shoe, putting it on the sore. That was nuts.
Yeah, that's
like I every time I watch it, I'm like, damn, bro, really? I don't know if it's OCD or what. Yeah, just like, bro, that nigga took it fresh off of his shoes and put it right on that raw, exposed skin that he had. Like, that shit was nuts.
Yeah. That look, he looked down at it like, I wonder.
He was so satisfied, right? Like,
yeah, but this is, remember a few episodes Happy Wanderer where he's like, well, I'm more of those guys than them douchebags. So I think that if he's gonna do mundaneness, again, we talk about it, like Mafia is who he really is. I'm pretending when I'm doing the civilian stuff. Yeah. So that's the issue. Is like I could be mundane in the Mafia because there's still always something to do. We still gonna smoke these cigars. We still gonna eat some gabagool. We still gonna laugh. We're gonna shoot we're gonna shoot the blow. We're gonna do whatever. Like it doesn't matter. So it's like I think he always will identify there. But we get this classic like Italian neighborhood thing where they done told Carmine, is that what they said, Carmine?
Little Carmine. Yeah.
Carmine, they said, man, we told you about speeding around here, bruh. So they go over there. It's just normal neighborhood stuff. Again, they no beef. They walking over there like it's something serious. It's Furio and Seal, but no real beef. It's just, again, mundaneness. We get that. Agent Harris walks up, and he asks about, how about the Nets? And we get this interesting thing where we see the shot of him. We see Big P goes in, and we see Paulie with the tanning, I don't know what you call it, tanning sheet. Which is
yeah, we don't use them.
No, we don't use those obviously. But we get
that's a strange introduction to Little Carmine though.
Are we sure that's Little Carmine? I know his name is Carmine, but it's not.
I think they just said
Little Carmine. I'm thinking it's the same one, right?
I looked at it, didn't look like
that's
Little
what
Carmine.
I thought. I thought it was the same.
I don't think it is. I just don't.
I think that's a popular name in the Italian, probably a popular name in the Italian American community. I probably like Keisha for black people.
Shit, man. Shit, bro.
Y'all like that? Y'all like that little black? I put the little, I'm saying, put the little base salt on it.
Man. You're flexing.
You're flexing.
You're flexing.
Yeah, we need that drop. We gotta have that somewhere. That is fire for like a spin. But yeah, and that's pretty much the scene, the episode. So, this has been another episode of Good Earners. But before we get out of here, we like to always leave our reviews because that's the way we do it here. It makes it fun, makes it creative, and we got something to reference when we get to our final episode of each season. So, as I pull this up here, first and foremost, Spike Lou, what do you rate this episode? Is it made, a good earner, just another envelope?
This is just another envelope. It was really mundane, really a filler before we get to the last two episodes of the season. Just showing you how, like, the Seinfeld episode, essentially, like you said. So it's just another envelope.
Do you think this is better than season one's Down Neck, what they did with the AJ storyline?
The AJ storyline. What else?
In the season one, where they was just dealing with why he was getting put out of school and Tony.
Yeah, this is better than that. This is better than that because I don't give a fuck about AJ. I care more. I care more about Tony and his mundane shit, but I don't give a fuck two fucks about AJ.
Okay. Well, what say you, Rich?
I'm going just another envelope as well, but I do want to highlight the fact that in an episode that really discussed the day-to-day average shit, it was a phenomenal episode. It's still better than so much television. Exactly. You know what I mean? And that just goes.
A lot of shows have throwaway episodes, and they are way worse than this. You're still in the world building that David Chase had is still interesting, even though literally nothing happens to move the plot forward.
Yeah, this is a made episode in 90% of other series
facts
that exist. But just because of what the bar is on Sopranos is just another envelope. But it's still thoroughly entertaining.
Great call. And of course, we're going 3-3 here. Just another envelope for all the same reasons y'all said, and also just I think the biggest thing is I think it works well. It just shows us, like, when we see Tony later in the series, we're going that 6A, 6B bag. You always want, like, bro, why don't you just chill out? Why don't you just accept, be with the family? This episode is a highlight of what it looks like if Tony just chills out. So we always will have to remember house arrest. It's like, okay, y'all want to see what it looks like when Tony chill out? Here it is. So this, if nothing else, it serves and shows you, like, this is what being a boss and trying to be regular looks like. So yeah, just another envelope. Spike Lou, who gets the Good Earner Award of this episode?
Richie was in his bag this episode, man. For me, it was Richie. I think Richie was like he spoke with passion and bravado. Tony had him fucked up. He even went to Junior with the light envelope. Like, look, man, this what happens when you let the motherfucker like make these decisions. So I think that this was a good episode for Richie as far as establishing, like, nigga, you had me fucked up, Tony. I'm gonna really do what I want to.
Okay, I dig it. What about you, Rich?
I agree. I had Richie down as well. You can make a case for Junior.
Yeah.
And just the idea where he's at in life and things that he's been granted with his relationship with Catherine. But for everything Spike just said, it's got to be Richie, man. He came up stunned. He's being told what he shouldn't be doing. He's doing it anyway. He's not really feeling any kind of direct repercussion. He's actually coming up on getting a better house, a house bigger and better than the boss's. Richie just in his bag. He could do no wrong and take no L's this episode.
Yeah, you're right. I'll switch it up. I'll go Carmella here. I feel like Carmella, and you can make an argument for Janice, but we just didn't quite get enough scenes. But I'll go Carmella. I think everywhere she showed up, I think all her fits, that first scene when she pops up about getting her eyebrows done, she had this silk suit on. When she was at the golf joint, she had the pink peach thing with the hoodie on. She was just a solid throughout the episode. We didn't get a lot of her, but I liked how she operated here. This episode's a hard reach for this part of our show, just because it was like they didn't give us a lot of that type of thing in this episode. But nonetheless, you know what? Forget it. I'm going Richie too. I'm gonna go Richie too. It's even Richie. I tried.
You weren't selling me, and I
wasn't selling myself on it. Like I was Melfi in the scenes. I'm lying to myself out loud.
I'm glad you that moment of self recognition there.
Yeah,
I'm glad you got it.
If you didn't change your bro, I swear, as soon as you finished talking, I was about to hit you with the. You don't believe you. You need more people.
You're flexing.
I'm glad that he tried. I'm glad.
I tried it. I really tried for it. I tried to do it for y'all, but I can't
like
even.
That you admitted it. Like, nah, this ain't even flying, my nigga.
I really like how Richie was going.
Niggas start checking text messages and all that.
It's like, yeah, you are a full-blown lion, bro.
we don't believe you. You need more people.
Oh, shit.
All right, good. Broken Balls Award. Who gets the Broken Balls Award of this episode for you, Spike Lou?
For me, it's Dr. Melfi, man. She was struggling through this episode, bro. Yeah, like she was struggling, like trying to figure out with the Belvedere and the drinking problem. My man was prescribing her medicine for OCD, getting into it with the lady at the restaurant about the smoking. Like she really was. This was really a Dr. Melfi episode where we seen her unhinged, and that's rare.
That's a great.
I'm telling y'all, I keep saying me and Spike the same dude. I promise on everything. I have Dr. Melfi in my notes. She took the biggest L. She is in a space where she doesn't even recognize herself. She can't even properly, the thing that she's fighting so hard for as far as treating Tony, she can't even properly do because she's not even herself. Embarrass her son. She took so many L's throughout the episode, man. She was down bad. Talk yourself into some other shit, Mo.
I was just going to say, Mo, finna try. Are you going to try to talk yourself into what? Are you going to go with the obvious?
That's hilarious. Talk yourself into something else. Oh, yeah. It's kind of, this is one of the episodes. It's only like 4 main kind of story, Yeah, I think we'll go Melfi. I do think you can make a case for Junior too, because he lost the nurse. The loss his ZD, his hand got stuck. It's a lot of, as much as he could be the winner, he could be the loser here in the same episode. Like that's Junior's life right there. But I'm going to go Trips again with Melfi just for all those same reasons. Every time I think I'm out, Tony pulls her back in. You know what I mean? So this is this great thing of a show right here. And
Bobby was a close second though. That nigga shit was miserable.
What?
Best thing I got was eating this the Gotch from the chick. Man. Like I gotta take this nigga to the hospital. He bitching at me all day. He like Big Bobby be going through it too.
Yeah, he do, and he don't never understand jokes, which is funny too.
He never gets
never gets
always
like,
out of
what?
it.
Like, and lastly, what is your favorite moment from this episode, Spike Lou?
Favorite moment from this episode, I would say with Richie and like y'all talk about the neck thing and him grabbing Richie at the golf tournament. Like, nigga, come here. Let me holler at you, little nigga.
Get over here.
I don't even like hollering at you like this, but I'm gonna holler at you like this in front of all these people. That was the main one for me when Richie and Tony were at the sanitation golf outing.
What about you?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna cheat a little bit and throw 2 into 1. So I'm just gonna label it as Junior's kitchen. The scenes, the 2 scenes that we have in Junior's kitchen with him getting his arm stuck. You're flexing the way Richie handles all that, the lubricant and everything like that. And then, like I said, the disgust that he had for Bobby for eating the rest of that dish. I know we already had our long spiel. I don't have to get into it.
Yeah.
But those 2 moments make me laugh out loud every single time that it's so real and so relatable. And it's just like the thing about Richie and his his quest, they never are directly said. Like, they don't hit you over the head with it, but they give you many clear examples, and they always just weird shit. Those random moments of 5'8", 225, or having the lights off while you getting served up at Bada Bing. They're just little small, subtle things. So
you got a chubby for Junior.
Just simmer down. Simmer down, relax. Come on, man. Like, that's just every time I see that shit, I laugh.
That's a fact.
That is beautiful, bro. Like, I swear that is so funny. Like, we definitely got some funny when we talk about it. It is.
Man, that nigga looked at that dish, man. He saw crystal clean.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting this off.
That nigga ate all my shit.
Bro.
Nigga ate all of it.
And clean, and then did the dishes and everything. Like, he didn't even hide the dish, nothing. But
because I know there's no way. Junior said to himself, but there is no way that he ate all of it.
All of it, though.
It's
you
not
didn't
possible.
even consider me, my nigga. You just put the whole thing right there. Like, come on, bro.
Did you have company, my nigga?
Scoop. Yeah, like, nigga, did you take this home to your wife? Like, what?
Yeah.
Bro. Come on. Like, it's really a hard pick between the Richie at the new house, kind of just getting that, talking about the walls and the lawn care and what kind of care you got, on your lawn, like that scene. But I'm gonna go with I'm a big fan of the family scenes with the Sopranos, so I really like that. Wow, Janice, you transformed. I don't know what to say. How about you say I look nice? He's like, oh, you look all right. You know what I'm saying? So and he's like, come here, and they kind of had that little joking moment. I'm like, I love that, because I know Spike talked about one of the last episodes where they talk about only you would get that joke. So I love that kind of that quick little moment, that jab, but like, actually, I think you look good, sis. So, and that is our episode, season 2, episode 11, House Arrest. If y'all want to get in contact with us, y'all can email us, goodearnerpod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram. That's probably the preferable form of contact if you want to possibly be a guest, or you just want to respond to something that we spoke about. GoodEarnerPod_Sopranos. That is the IG, GoodEarnerPod_Sopranos. This is all in the description. Also, we are on YouTube as well as all your podcast apps, so you can subscribe there, like and comment, rate and review on iTunes. You can send questions on Spotify now, so we can be reached, we can be contacted, no doubt. Nonetheless, thank y'all for tuning in, and remember, don't forget about it.